believe I'm the fastest.
3-time series fastest.
Last season's fastest.
At Daytona, you gotta have a friend.
You better bring all the friends you can find.
I know I'm the fastest.
Faster than the boys.
I believe I'm the fastest. In a pack, in a draft, 3 wide.
I'm the fastest.
First time series fastest. Outside, inside, brand new truck. It's Daytona, baby, and I'm back.
Days have passed since the final checkered flag of 2003. We kick off 2004 at the Mecca of Motorsports. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is presented by Craftsman. It's a new season, a new manufacturer. We've got veteran drivers back, and we're under the lights at the Daytona International Speedway. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen, and joining me to call all the action tonight, Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. Now, a big change took place. Toyota joins as a new manufacturer in NASCAR. How big is it, Phil?
Rick, I think Toyota coming into the Craftsman Truck Series is probably the biggest thing to happen to this series since its inception back in 1995. The first time a foreign manufacturer will come into NASCAR, one of their premier divisions, in a big, big way. They bring 7 brand new teams in to compete in every one of the 25 races this year. And this is race number 1, and this is Daytona. And who better to tell us about Daytona than 2-time Daytona 500 winner, Michael Waltrip.
Well, Phil, obviously Daytona's special to me. I've had a lot of success here. Why, you might ask, does Daytona mean so much to these drivers? History, tradition, speed, fierce competition. When you come to the checkered flag last year, Rick Crawford, 3 wide, wins the race. Rick Crawford was a short track driver from Alabama. He dreamed of racing at Daytona, just like Phil and I did when we were kids growing up. He wanted to be here. Last year, that dream came true for Rick. He took the checkered flag. This year, there's a dozen or so stories just like Rick's up and down pit road chasing that dream here at Daytona.
And a guy who's going to bring us all of those stories from pit road is our own Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. It's so great to get started here at Daytona. Now, remember, Terry Cook won his first race at Flemington back in '98, and that took you, what, about 34 races to get to victory lane, right?
That was correct.
You know how many races it's been since you won last?
No, I wouldn't have a clue, but I know you will.
33.
Sounds like it's time to get it done. Power stroke diesel truck is awesome, and I think tonight might be the night.
Okay, average finish of 6.2 here at Daytona. Terry Cook on the pole in his Power Stroke diesel number 10. Wendy?
Well, thanks, Ray. It's an unbelievable feeling to be standing here tonight on pit road. Now, one of the biggest stories of the weekend was yesterday in drafting practice. Andy Houston, Jeffrey Bodine, they got together and they collected our defending race winner, Rick Crawford. Now, that truck, CB number 7, was the same truck Rick won here with last year. Obviously, there was too much damage to repair. They rolled out the backup truck, which is CB number 8, and that was supposed to be their downforce truck for Atlanta. Now, Rick went out for happy hour yesterday and was surprisingly pleased with it. Rick, how does that change your strategy for tonight's race?
It really doesn't. I mean, we were starting back here with a primary truck, and to start back here with a backup truck that was even better than the primary is a feat to the Circle Bar team. That a big accomplishment. Ray Stonkus, all the guys on the team, Jack Roush and Roush engines under the hood, and you can bet one thing, we won't be back here very long, and hopefully we can make it 2 in a row with the Circle Bar Ford.
Rick Crawford looking for another win here at Daytona. Let's go upstairs.
Well, thank you and welcome again, Wendy Norris, to the broadcast team. The trucks are lined up on pit road. The drivers have all been introduced. All we have to do now is see the green flag. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series pre-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. Jason Leffler and his number 2 Dodge found himself in a familiar place, leading the pack to the first green flag of the season. It didn't take long for the first caution to come out in 2003 as David Starr's number 75 Chevy on lap 2 got caught up in traffic and found the inside wall. Rick Crawford established himself as the dominant truck by starting 19th and making his way up to the front on lap 37. Just 5 laps later, Ted Musgrave's number 1 Dodge lost a tire and caused this wreck that saw him take out his own teammate and pole sitter Jason Leffler. Rookie of the Year Carl Edwards in the '99 Ford showed us a flash of greatness as he led 3 laps before losing it and hitting the wall hard. But it was this final accident on lap 99 that guaranteed fans a fantastic finish. Green-white checkered. When they finally restarted, it was vintage Daytona. 3 and 4 wide, vying for the top spot around the 2.5-mile tri-oval. And when they came out of turn 4, it was the closest race in Daytona truck history. As they're coming to the line, it's Rick Crawford making the pass, and Crawford wins the Daytona 250. An amazing finish for that first race here at Daytona. And another amazing thing that took place that day was Toyota introduced that they were going to be in the upper tier of NASCAR. They were moving into the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and that all took place 1 year ago. And now today they are at NASCAR.
On behalf of everyone at NASCAR, we're very pleased to welcome Toyota Tundra to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series beginning in 2004.
NASCAR Craftsman Truck really presented itself with a place for us to showcase the fact that we have trucks to sell, and they are also all built here in the United States.
Toyota's emergence into the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series further extends the manufacturer's rich auto racing history.
When Toyota decided to get in now, we said, well, you know, we can be another part of history.
There's been a lot of communication amongst the teams, and you know, essentially TRD is shepherding everybody so that we're pooling information, and I think that's working well.
Over the short span of 21 years in American motorsports, Toyota has proven to have a rich history. Most recently, Toyota saw success with championships in the kart series in 2002, and last year proving to be a power in the IRL in its first season, winning the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championship while also crossing the Yard of Bricks first and capturing America's greatest prize, the Indianapolis 500.
I think we've learned some things over the years, especially in the kart series, and that one thing is that you can have equipment and put it on the track, but it really is a combination of finding the right teams with the right drivers.
They've been around the truck series for well over a year now, probably almost 2 years, and really doing the research, and they've had trucks built, they've been on the racetrack a lot, they've had engine programs that have been up and running all last year, and you know, I think they've really done their homework.
Although the Craftsman Truck Series is Toyota's first entry into the upper tier of NASCAR, it began competing in the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series in 2000 with Robert Huffman at the wheel.
Right now, I think the biggest hurdle is probably the engine side of it. You know, fortunately enough, I've been involved with them for the last 3 years and seen their involvement in the kart and the IRL program and my Goodies Dash program, and they won't struggle at that long.
For Toyota's competitors, the addition of a 4th entry in the Craftsman Truck Series offers a welcome challenge on race day. For NASCAR, Toyota is expected to bring along a generous budget to sponsor events and market its involvement in the series.
I think this is going to be a great series to watch next year because this is just, it's going to be very, very competitive. It's making it tougher, you know, with Toyota spending as much money as they are.
The biggest thing, though, is I think I can, you know, you can look at it 2 ways. Either, you know, I think they're going to raise the level of competition, and I think that I can learn from those guys.
After a year of preparation, the day has finally come for the Toyota Tundra to show its power. The people at Toyota know from history that the way to a championship is not through the mountain, but over it.
We just want to come in, be competitive, win our share of races, and hopefully have one or both of our guys, or all 7 of these guys, a year from now bidding for this championship.
Well, for the first time in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series history, our defending champion does not return to the same team or the same manufacturer for that matter. Travis, I think you're messing with our cameraman. You told me earlier you were glad to be starting up front. What's your strategy for tonight?
Just mainly just stay up here, you know. got shuffled quite a bit around in that IROC race. So hopefully we can just keep this Lion X Toyota up here in the top 10 and be in the lead pack when we get down to the final 5 or 10 laps and be there when it matters and go for the win.
That's Travis Quaffle looking to improve last year's Daytona finish of second. Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Wendy. When we start talking about Toyotas, one of the biggest names whenever they announced their driver lineup, of course, was Mike Skinner. Now, Skinner is known as the champion that started off this series. He was the grassroots of the Craftsman truck. Hey, Mike, welcome back. Glad to have you.
Man, this is awesome. It's exciting. Under the lights at Daytona here in a brand new Toyota Tundra. This is cool. Truck racing's bad.
We got 16 wins on your docket right now, and you won in your very first start. How cool would it be for you to be the guy that gets the win for Toyota in their very first start?
It'd be good, but I'm just trying to keep my emotions kind of at a low key because if I try too hard, we won't see the end. So I'm just going to have to try to keep the fenders on this little Tundra right here. And if we got anything for him, we'll sure as hell show it at the end.
Okay, good luck. He has 2 poles here at Daytona in the Nextel Cup Series. 13 times he's raced here in that division, and he is probably one of the most experienced drafters in this field.
Tundras were a little bit of a mystery coming into qualifying, and then the mystery was solved immediately. They had 7 trucks entered, and all 7 have qualified in the top 17.
Well, NASCAR had a test back in December at Talladega that I was a part of, and the Toyotas were really a little bit off the pace. So everyone worried all winter long if the Toyotas going to be competitive here in Daytona. Obviously, they have been.
They're going to knock it down. You know, they've got great drivers. You see one of their team owners there, DW, at the NTN truck that Ruderman will drive. They've got a former champion, the first champion in Mike Skinner, and the last champion in Travis Quaffle. So obviously, not only are their trucks good, they put together some solid teams.
Very thrilling for Toyota to come into a new series and see if they can do well, and they're going to try here at Daytona. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Florida Dodge Dealers 250 on Speed Channel. Let's kick off the season and go down trackside for pre-race activities.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Daytona Beach Police Department presents tonight's colors. And now, let's welcome Reverend Hal Marshman as he delivers tonight's invocation.
Almighty God and Father of all mankind, we thank you for this wonderful part of the world. And we're gathered here tonight for all the excitement of the races. And we want to be still and let you know that we care about you as our God. So bless this night and bless all who participate. Shalom and amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and welcome Transcontinental Records rising star, Brooke Hogan, as she sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose front stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets recollect the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Let's welcome back Hulk Hogan for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
Quite possibly the drivers were just scared into starting their engines for the first time. Hulk Hogan delivering those famous words. Just 10 minutes away from the green flag of the Daytona Dodge Dealers 250. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Florida Dodge Dealers 250 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horn. Dodge. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. And by Domino's Pizza, the official pizza of NASCAR. Overcast skies all day long. A change from yesterday. It was a beautiful day. Today a little bit colder.
I think the key point is it was a lot warmer yesterday when these guys ran their final practice session, and the wind was blowing with them with a tailwind down the backstretch. Now the wind is extremely calm.
Let's take a look at the Craftsman track description.
You can see here the track's 2.5 miles long. The corners are banked 31 degrees. The famous travel was 18 degrees. That's higher banking than most tracks we race on, and that's supposed to be a straightaway. So look for a lot of action through there. 3,400 foot down the back straightaway. You can pass anywhere. You could wreck anywhere. This place just is so tight. The competition is so intense. Who knows what's going to happen and where it's going to happen at.
Let's take a look at the Castrol GTX race analysis. And Michael, you probably know quite a bit about how to run around this track.
Well, you can have a lot of fun on this track. You know, you hear the drivers all the time say, wow, I just had the best time ever. That's when it's over. When you're actually doing it, it really isn't that much fun, is it, Phil?
This is probably as mentally exhausting as any race these guys will run this year.
Even if you were having fun, you wouldn't know it because your mind is just so entrenched on what you're doing.
Guys, let's take a look at the Domino's starting grid for the first race of the year, and a lot of people call this the Super Bowl. On the pole for the first time at Daytona, Terry Cook claims that spot. A rookie, Chase Montgomery, on the outside, and the parity is very well shown here as we have 4 manufacturers in the top 4 spots.
There's 3-time Dash Series champion Robert Huffman on the outside of row number 4, and Randy LaJoie on the inside of row number 5, a 3-time Busch Series winner here at Daytona.
You see here Tina Gordon and Mike Skinner lead up the next group. Did you know that if I win the Daytona 500 on Sunday, you can get free cheesy Domino's dots by calling Domino's and saying you want the Waltrip special?
I didn't know that, but I'm glad I know it now. Jack Sprague will start on the inside of row 10, 3-time series champion. And welcome to the series, Steve Park, who takes over for Brendan Gaughan in the Orleans 62.
There's a 2000 winner, Mike Wallace, on the outside of row number 13, and 5-time ARCA champ on the outside of row number 14, Frank Kimmel.
Cat, I talked about in the opening, Rick Crawford, you see he had a bad starting spot. Well, it got worse. He crashed in the final practice, so he'll go from last to try to defend his title here in Daytona.
41 trucks tried to enter this very prestigious race. 5 were not able to make it. Lonnie Richardson, Kelly Sutton, Phil Bonifield, L.W. Miller, and Greg Sachs all missed the field. Early problems for the Spears Manufacturing 75. Looks as though they're pulling the hood pins, actually putting them back in, so he'll be moving out soon. Speed Channel welcomes you back to the Florida Dodge Dealers 250 here at Daytona Beach, Florida. Because of a low ceiling, the onboard cameras in our trucks may not have a good picture, so we are going to let you know. Travis Quapple, Ted Musgrave, Bill Lester, Jack Sprague, Stedman Marlin, and Mike Wallace all will be carrying onboard cameras. But again, we mentioned that overcast skies today, and that's been giving us some problems as far as reception for our onboard cameras. Now, last year, you guys were all making picks as far as who you thought were going to win the championship, and we've got some early season picks, and let's start off down on pit road with Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, thanks a lot. You know, it's just impossible not to go with Jack Sprague, in my opinion. Here's the reason why. He's a 3-time champion. He might have been a 5-time champion. He lost the championship by just a couple of points. Sprague is probably the most experienced guy in this field. Also, his team, the 16 team, has won the last 2. I think he's the guy to beat this year for the championship. Wendy?
Well, Jack Sprague's an excellent pick, Ray, but I'm going with another veteran, Ted Musgrave. Now, Ted, he has a whole new attitude this year. I've been watching him in practice. I've seen him in the draft, and he's ready to go. Last year, he had an average finish of 7th. He's one of our most consistent drivers in the series, and this year, I think Ted Musgrave will be the man to pick. What's your pick upstairs, guys?
Think, Phil?
Well, I think Dennis Setzer came within 9 points last year winning this championship. Had they had the new point system where they gave 5 extra points to the winner, he would have won this championship by 1 point. They've got a new deal. They're getting motors from Richard Childress. Chevrolet really jumped on board with this truck, sponsoring it. I think Dennis Setzer is going to win his first Craftsman Truck Series championship this year.
I like Dennis Setzer too. You know, he qualified 4th down here at Daytona. Historically, he's been a short track guy. Now he's all top of the line here at Daytona. But I look for Matt Craftsman to come out of the fog with this championship. I think he can race solidly. He proved that in the 88 truck last year. He's got an experienced car owner in Kevin Harvick, who's going to rely a lot on Richard Childress, who's won this championship before. I like Matt Craftsman.
Very good, and it pains me to say this, but I've got to agree with Ray Dunlap. I think that Jack Sprague, 3-time champion in this series, and jumping into a truck who has just had repeat championships with IWX, I think that Jack Sprague is going to be the man that is going to be out in front for the points championship. The guy that has an opportunity to win some money for his crew is Terry Cook. Terry Cook can have the Craftsman win from the pole award go to his team members, and it's changed a little bit this year. It used to be that we would give $10,000 for anyone that would win from the pole in a Craftsman Truck Series race. This year it is an incremental, it increases each race. It starts off at $2,000 and then it will go up as soon as no one has won it until someone wins it. So quite possibly at the end of the season, if no one wins from the pole, someone could win $50,000 in that last race at Homestead. Let's go down trackside to Ray.
Hey, Rick, down here in the Roush pits, I think we've got an awful lot of support for Carl Edwards here. Greg Biffle is down here in the pit area. He's going to be helping these guys out, telling them about the experience he got when he won last year here in the Pepsi 400. We also have Rambo, crew chief from the Busch Series, and we also have Kevin Starlin, the crew chief. Doug Richard is down here. These guys have a lot of people giving some advice to try to help Roush Racing get to victory lane for the first time here at Daytona. Remember, they lead the series with 33 career wins.
Tell you, the guys right now in these trucks, they have butterflies. It's so big, it's unbelievable. Now, as soon as the green flag drops, Michael, they're going to be fine. But these guys have been waiting 3 months to catch a green flag here at Daytona.
Yeah, but I mean, and everybody's looking at them. You know, they're center stage tonight. The feelings inside of those trucks, they say go, and you think maybe you're going to calm down, but it doesn't go away for 10 or 15 laps. That's why this start is so important, that we get off to a clean start.
And guys that are going to have to start at the back of the field because of things that have taken place. Andy Houston went to a backup truck because of that accident. Ken Weaver in the 08 goes to a backup engine, so he'll go to the back. Backup car or truck for Rick Crawford goes to the back. Brandon Witt puts a new engine in. He goes to the back. Mike Wallace goes to the back because of an engine. Randy McDonald and Wayne Edwards and Carl Edwards all going to the back of the field because of engine changes.
These engines turn a tremendous amount of RPMs. The draft is real important. The things run up high on the RPM range, and it's hard on the engines, Phil.
It sure is. And a lot of these guys broke their engines even before qualifying. They went ahead, put new engines in, qualified, were able to get a decent starting, a qualifying position, picked their spot on pit road, but then they had to go to the back of the pack.
Man, I never understood that whole boogity thing Darrell came off with, but I'm standing here and I can't stand still. I mean, I know Darrell, he just had to start yelling something when these things came down to the start-finish line. This is intense. I love the action, and I've loved the seat that we have to watch here at Daytona.
I'm actually glad you're up here because I thought that was maybe a family thing, like your dad used to yell boogity or something like when you were running out of the house.
He doesn't even know where that came from. It's just something he dreamed up. The fans are coming to their feet. The starter's holding them back. Golly.
Michael Dolan sets the pace in the pace truck. He will pull that Dodge onto pit road. And now Terry Cook in the number 10 Power Stroke Diesel leads the field of 36 to the first green flag of the year. And we are underway with the Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
Michael, did you see those guys jump on the throttle? Those trucks jump sideways. That's what happens when you punch the needle on 600 horsepower.
It's really moist out tonight, too, so the track's been sitting dormant for a while, and I'm sure just, golly, it didn't take them long to go 3 wide, did it?
3 wide going into turn number 1.
Bobby Hamilton right on the get-go, jumps to the outside 3 wide. He has had a truck that has really liked the outside this entire week, and he has been extremely fast. Look at him on the outside.
Bobby Hamilton wasting no time trying to get by the 16 of Jack Sprague. That's the 46 of Dennis Setzer.
That's one of Bobby's team trucks on the inside, Chase Montgomery, the white number 8. That's leading this thing, but not for long.
What about Bobby Hamilton? Starts 10th. I think I'll just lead the first lap. Thank you.
2.5 miles, and Bobby Hamilton will go across the start-finish line to lead the first lap of 2004.
Got Mike Skinner right there with him. He's got a lot of experience, 2-time pole winner here in the Winston Cup Series.
Now Bobby Hamilton moved to the top of the track to make all the passes. Now he's back down on the yellow line.
I would say these cats will get a run on Bobby before long. There you can see Skinner. He's wanting to put that Toyota out in front.
Smoke early. And that's Joe Aramendia. Joe Aramendia in the 31, having smoke coming out of that. Number 31, the caution flies.
Well, these guys need to slow her down. The rule is that you just back her down as soon as the caution comes out. Nice, steady pace to the start-finish line.
Disappointing start for the 31 of Joe Aramendia. We're under our first caution for the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. We'll be back. One of Speed Channel's best shows is moving to a new time. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain beginning February 16th can be seen at 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. As always, Dave takes your calls and emails live on virtually any racing subject. Stock cars, Indy cars, F1, drag racing, motorcycles, whatever's on your mind. Wind Tunnel Monday through Thursday at its new time, 10 p.m. Eastern. And remember, the Daytona 500 winner will be on Monday's show. And that could be you, Michael.
That would be nice. I'd show up for that. I was on Dave's show last night.
3-time Daytona 500 winner. That sounds pretty good.
I think I can get used to that. Shane came in and topped off with a little bit of gas filled. Did they make a chassis adjustment? Could you tell?
They were working on the front of the truck. I don't know if maybe he ran into the back of somebody. And
or maybe just too much tape.
Could have had too much tape. But it's hard to believe he would really overheat in 2 laps because they only ran 2 laps.
Taking a look at Joe Aramendia. And the smoke was rolling out from underneath the hood of that truck. That's why we're under caution 1.
Almost looked like a loose oil line, the way the thing smoked out the left front tire there. Maybe they can get that healed up and Joe can get back out there after it.
Because it looked like he came back to pit road under power. And these guys, if that happened off of turn number 2, there's no way he would make it all the way back around.
Field all in line. We remain under caution. We'll be back with more racing action after this. Welcome back to live coverage of the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. As Terry Cook brings the field back to the start-finish line for our first restart of the night. Bobby Hamilton sits right behind him.
Green flag.
We're back underway.
And a truck on the inside of the racetrack there.
It's Aramendia.
It's Aramendia. He's a lap down.
Now Terry Cook got a good jump on this start field, but that's not always the best thing to do.
I think he's going to pay for it because when the guys get to him, they're going to have some momentum. And these trucks punch such a big hole in the air anyway. And for them to have momentum with a big hole that they punch, this is the best thing that could happen to them is they get 2 or 3 wide behind him.
Mike Skinner moving to the outside.
Jumped out and around Bobby Hamilton again.
Bringing his teammate Travis Quapple, the 24 Line-X Toyota with him. It's going to be hard to get used to saying Toyota. We said Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet for so many years. Now we have to say Toyota.
Oh, I think we can figure it out. Especially if they run up front like this. Terry Cook trying to hold them off as they go 3 wide through the tri-oval and into turn number 1.
Quapple goes to the outside of Skinner and picked up some help from Setzer. Allowed Quapple to finish the pass. You see him get by his teammate there, Mike Skinner.
You know, one of the big raps last year on Travis Quapple was that he didn't win many races. He didn't lead many laps. Well, it looks like he's going for the lead early here at Daytona.
There he goes, taking that Toyota to the outside. Oh, Chase just squeezed in there.
Ray?
Hey guys, we see Ted Musgrave making some good moves out there on the racetrack in that Mopar Dodge. One thing he told me before this race starts is tonight there's only one objective: finish this thing. He's only been running one race out of the 3 that they've run here at the finish, so Musgrave knows if he's going to be in a contention tonight for a championship at the end of the year, all he's got to do is be running after 100 laps.
Well, that doesn't go with the new Ted Musgrave we've been hearing so much about. He's been talking about he's going to be no more Mr. Nice Guy. He's going for the front, and now race, and he just wants to finish this race.
Oh, Skinner flirting with that yellow line. That, of course, is a no-no. Oh! I got to quit saying, oh, I'm just so excited. Phil, I can't help it. I'm sorry, I'll quit.
A little bump drafting gone bad there, it looked like. Dennis Setcher pulled up, bump drafted along with Travis Quapple, and just about turned him sideways.
Coming out of turn 4, side by side for the lead. Terry Cook on the inside, Travis Quapple on the outside.
Oh, a crash on
inside comes early. That's the 62 of Steve Park sliding all across the grass now. Bill Lestrade leaving a 22.
Good job. Take a look at that side when he comes by.
David Starr
coming out of the grass
Spears
there.
Manufacturing.
Oh, wow.
75 of David Starr. And he had problems on lap 2 of last year's race.
He's got a little damage to the front end of the truck, but nothing like the damage he had last year, so he should be able to get that truck patched up. And what a tough break for Steve Park. First time in a truck in several years. Unbelievable. This happened so early.
What Steve's trying to do is get back to his pit. And
Steve, easy. Turn it around. Swing it wide, turn it around. Swing it wide, turn it around. Put 4 tires on. We need to get the right front fender off the tires. Watch the right rear.
Let's take a look at how this took place.
Steve's in the middle of a 3-wide pack. You've got David Rudham, the 70, comes up the hill a little bit, gets into Steve Park. That knocks him into Bobby Hamilton. Bobby made some contact with the outside wall.
One of the fastest trucks in practice yesterday, Phil, Bobby Hamilton. We saw him get the lead early on the back straightaway. That's going to do a lot of damage to that Square D truck. Steve trying to get 4 tires down here in the pits before the leaders, before the pack gets back around here. I don't believe he's going to make it.
David Starr, the 75 truck, just a victim of circuit. There you see the contact between David Rudham and...
It just looked like David came up off the corner a little bit wider than Steve thought he was. Steve had a little bit of room to the outside that he wasn't taking advantage of. I'm sure he assumed that that Rudham would stay dead on the bottom, and he didn't.
Yeah, here they are. They've already got together. You see Steve. That's what a great shot. That's what you see, Jack Sprague, and that's at 180-some miles an hour.
On board with Jack Sprague there.
I'm sure Bobby Hamilton probably will want to take a look at the right side of his Square D Dodge because he did make some contact with the outside wall.
I don't quite understand what happened there leaving the pit. Whether Steve ran the stop sign or what.
Steve Park being held 2 laps for spinning on pit road, we believe. We'll get an official report back from NASCAR.
Even though he did it on purpose?
Apparently so.
Spin's a spin. I guess NASCAR decided.
You might ask why Steve didn't just drive around the racetrack and come in the pits. Well, he had all 4 tires flat, and those tires will do some tremendous damage when you're riding around when they're flat. You got to remember that's 2.5 miles all the way back around the racetrack.
Stop sign out. You went through.
Yeah, I think Steve ran the stop sign.
They crossed the timing mark, I believe.
They may hold him a lap for spinning on pit road and 1 lap for running the stop sign, possibly.
And earlier, the first caution that came out, Joe Aramendia having the engine problems will actually be the truck that will get a lap back because of the caution coming out. He was a lap down. He will now get a lap back.
He's a couple laps down, so this will help his cause. Certainly.
Here we see Bobby Hamilton, Square D Dodge coming in the pits. Steve Park, the Orleans Dodge coming back in the pits.
Bobby Hamilton getting caught up. Bobby likes to run on the high side of this track.
Not that high.
Well, got a little too close to the wall there, but he had some help.
Yeah, he was
parked back in to get some work done on the Orleans 62. And they're pulling the body out away from the tires.
Be interesting to see how many laps NASCAR decides to dock Steve.
Andy Houston getting some work done. Ray?
Hey guys, Andy was saying he is really loose out there on the racetrack, and we've been hearing that from guys all throughout the weekend, so they're going to make a big air pressure adjustment for him on the right side. The ASE Dodge is in. Guys go to work. Bunch of new crew members here. They said, make sure you pack it full of fuel. And a couple of guys have been on the radio saying they're going to pit, but they're going to come next time. So I'm not sure. Was the pit road open there? Could you tell?
That's a good question, Ray. We see Bobby Hamilton's group taking a look at the right side of that truck.
They're stringing it to want to make sure that the wheels are tracking in line there. They may have to do a toe-in adjustment.
You know, and if that truck was loose, like we're hearing a lot of people say, if it didn't knock the wheels out of a line, Phil, knocking the right front corner of that nose in some will help that truck be tighter. It won't turn as well because it won't have as much downforce on the front end. So sounds like they do have toe issues where the wheels are askew. So see if they can get that straightened out and not go a lap down here.
And Ray, just to let you know, pit road was open, and Steve Park got 2 laps assessed to him. One of them was because of speeding on pit road. Wendy?
Well, I'm here at David Starr's pit. A tough start for him tonight. Of course, he got pushed off at the starting grid because his truck wouldn't start. Now he's been involved in this accident. He came in once already. He said nothing's leaking. The team took it out. There was no hole in the radiator, but they came back around and they fixed the damage on the car, and they're back out on the track now.
You see the excessive damage on the left side of that truck in such an aero-important track as Daytona. We'll be back with more racing action live on Speed. Welcome back to Daytona Beach, Florida for the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. We're under caution number 2. 4 trucks being caught up in the initial accident. We'll take a look at this. David Ruderman on the inside.
You can see, Rick, he's right on the bottom of the racetrack, right against the yellow line, but there's a bump right there. And when he hits the bump, he shoots up and hangs into Steve. Nothing Park could do. He squeezed Hamilton into the wall, almost saved the truck.
There's a little bit of a bump there where the tunnel is, and that almost looked like exactly where the tunnel goes underneath the racetrack so you can drive inside the infield, and looked like he just hit that bump. The truck got away from about a half a truck width, just enough to get into Steve and turn him into Bobby Hamilton.
Wendy Norris.
Well, we checked in with Travis Quapple's team, and he said he's been a little on the free side, but he's overall okay. When I talked to him at the start of the race, he said, I'm glad to be starting up front because he wanted to stay out of trouble, and now we see exactly why. Guys?
He was really loose when Setzer bump drafted him on the back straightaway, wasn't he?
He turned dead sideways in the middle of the straightaway.
Oh, man, right in front of the whole field. Well, Toyota has pushed to the lead for the first time in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series history. Mike Skinner got the lead on lap 9.
2 teammates, Mike Skinner and Travis Quapple, 1 and 2. Toyota's first race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and currently they're 1 and 2. Just throws the green flag for our second restart of the day. Mike Skinner, Travis Quapple, 1 and 2 as they head into turn 1.
Great jump by Dennis Setzer. Jumped on the outside of Terry Cook for the 3rd position. Now they're side by side.
Well, the teammates aren't going to ride in line. Travis says, I got to go. I want the lead.
3 wide, no big surprise there.
Terry Cook getting a nice bump draft from John Wood. It's come a long way in a short period of time.
Mike Skinner went from 1st to 6th in 1/2 a lap, Mike.
Travis Quapple, our reigning series champion, out in front of the line X24.
Wow, tightened up off turn 4 there, Phil. Like we talked earlier, that bump, these trucks are sprung as softly as they can get them, and they're hitting the road there off 4, causing them to move around quite a bit.
3 wide again as they go into turn number 1.
Carl Edwards, the 99 truck, in the middle. A lot of the drivers we're talking about, when you're on the outside coming off 2, you lose that front end, especially if you're 3 wide up there. So these guys are really being careful getting off turn number 2 so they don't lose that front end like we saw in practice yesterday that happened to Andy Houston.
Another lead change.
Look at as Terry Cook runs on the outside of Travis Quapple. Ray, what have you got?
Hey guys, just a lot more reports about people being loose down here, including Carl Edwards in the Super Chips Ford. He has said loose, loose, loose. They wanted to take a half a pound out of the right rear and do a little bit of adjustment for wedge on him, but Cowboy Starlin said we can't pit yet. It's too early. We got to get in a little bit later. More track time, but these guys, a lot of them, very loose. How about your end, Wendy?
Well, Ray, I'm here at the 17 pit of David Ruderman. I checked in with the team, and what happened on that accident, he was just super loose before it, and he just got a little out of hand. They said team manager Bobby Kennedy told David Ruderman, settle down.
Wayne Edwards tried to, Wayne Otten tried to tell him that yesterday, and, well, it didn't work.
Could you settle down right now, Rick? Look at that mess. And besides that, they're all loose.
Look at that 52 truck right there, middle of the pack, middle of that 3-wide pack. Ken Schrader's truck driven by Mike Wallace.
You know, I said John Wood come a long way in a hurry. He's up to fighting for second position, third position there, and that 50 truck started 20th. I guess that's not that big of a deal when you consider Bobby Hamilton started 10th and had the lead by the middle of the back straightaway on the first lap.
About 1.25 miles.
Yesterday during happy hour, we had probably at most 10 trucks in a pack as they were out there practicing. Right now, we've got 25 trucks in this lead lap pack.
We've got 15 trucks right now within 1 second of the lead.
Remember yesterday when I told you what they were doing wasn't drafting practice? That was just that was synchronized driving, trying to figure out how the trucks were handling. This is what I mean. This is what the pack, this is the glob. This is what gets your attention.
Look at that 52 truck in the inside Ford deep there. Mike Wallace, 52 truck. Remember, he changed engines and went to the back of the pack, Michael.
Federated Auto Parts, number 52, Ken Wallace.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace, I'm going to say Ken Schrader's truck. Ken was disappointed that they changed the engine on that. I don't think Mike Wallace is disappointed at all.
All the way up to the 4th position. From the very back of the pack.
Things are starting to settle down a little bit, Phil. You'll see that after 10 or 15 laps on these tires. The handling goes away somewhat, and they just can't hold their breath any longer. They're saying, give me some single file racing.
We might have to mention here that Goodyear brought a different tire this year. NASCAR really wanted Goodyear to have a little bit softer tire at each and every racetrack to put a little more of the driver into this thing. Do you want these tires to wear a little bit? Make these guys make some pit stop and change tires. Kind of spread out the competition. It's not doing too good to spread out the competition right now, but these guys will see some tire wear.
Wendy, I believe you've got something on Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah, we checked in with Bobby Hamilton's crew, and of course, he started 10th tonight, but he had contact with the 62 of Steve Park. They took 3 pit stops to fix that damage. They said the left side was knocked in at about 1 inch. They took only left side tires, and of course, Bobby has to come from the back of the pack in 28th, guys.
Only left side tires. We saw him hit the wall.
Evidently, they didn't think they were damaged.
He definitely scrubbed all the Goodyear markings off the outside tires, but they elected not to change it. Well, just about the time you think it's settled down and they strung out a little bit, then this big giant draft brings these things right back together, 2 and 3 wide.
Yeah, you have Setzer going for the lead. He was tired of following Terry Cook. He decided he needed to get his truck in the front. Everybody seems to be on their own agenda. Phil, what's the deal with race car drivers?
Nobody is working together in this race. Not 2 drivers are working together. We saw teammates Travis Quapple and Mike Skinner. They didn't stay nose to tail for 15 seconds.
And then we saw a couple of veterans line up, and they couldn't stand not passing one another.
This outside line shows Dennis Setzer in the Chevy Silverado 46 right in front of Travis Quapple in the Line X24. That is just opposite of the way the points finished last year. Dennis Setzer finished second in the points.
Terrific point battle. We had 4 guys in big-time contention coming down to the last race of the year at Homestead, Florida.
Inside of 40 points.
Dennis Setzer ended up finishing second by 9 laps.
Mike Wallace right on Terry Cook's bumper, trying to push his way to the front of Schrader's truck.
I'll tell you, Michael, I talked to Ted Musgrave earlier this morning. He said probably the best truck he saw out there in happy hour was Mike Wallace in the 52 Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet.
Whoa, we got loose right there.
Yeah, big time loose. I don't think he wanted to be the bull of the yellow line there.
That was not by choice, but look at him. He kept the hammer down. Now he's going back for the lead. I bet he's hoping Carl gets off of him a little bit when they get down here in the corner, though.
How about Mike Skinner, the 42 truck, jumping on the outside of his teammate, making it 3 wide, put Travis Quapple, the 24 truck, in the middle.
I don't think after tonight Travis will have any question about Mike's commitment to going fast. He's going to get that truck to the front no matter what it takes. Try to squeeze in underneath Quapple.
Lead 5 trucks now forming a line. And then as soon as we say that.
Yeah, they tried that once, Rick. That lasted all of about a half lap. I said, yeah, the tires are going to settle down now.
Then they were 3 wide.
We didn't even get a chance to explain to everybody about the tires, and they were side by side again. Rudimann's fought his way into the top 5.
There's Randy LaJoy, the 59 truck, melting engine parts.
Everybody in this field's going to get a call tonight, aren't they, Phil? They all work their way to the front.
They're all going to be fighting for the lead before this thing's over.
Mike Wallace moving up on the high side. Carl Edwards trying to tuck in behind him. But everybody's trying to chase the 46 of Dennis Setzer.
That's pretty fast down pit road.
They might get called for speeding, I would guess.
No, not for that. They just saved their necks is all they did.
When you're trying to avoid an accident or something like that, and you get pushed down a pit road, it is not a problem. You can speed down pit road. And they only went down there at 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, and they didn't lose a spot. Phil, look at them.
What is a crew member thinking as the truck goes flying by him within 30 feet at 180 miles an hour?
He said, I'm glad I wasn't standing on pit road.
Let's take a look at that run, that close run that those 2 trucks just had.
Carl's going to get together with the 59 truck of Randy LaJoy, and they just turned them that way, Michael.
Golly, they're so fortunate. They just did a great job there of not panicking. You know, they came together.
Unbelievable. He doesn't even lose a spot. Dennis Setzer not losing his spot as Mike Wallace tucks in behind him. Carl Edwards probably trying to calm the nerves. He's already had a problem at Daytona a year ago, though. We'll be back with more exciting racing from Daytona International Speedway. Welcome back to the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. We're under caution number 3, and that was caused by the 99 of Carl Edwards. Let's take a look at what happened.
We saw the contact earlier, cut down his left rear tire, and around he goes. He was trying to get back to the pits.
And this brings out the caution flag. And because of the caution flag, we had even more problems.
They're just racing back to the caution flag. You see Robert Huffman, that's the 12 truck coming right across the racetrack. He got run into from behind. Looked like by the 08 of Ken Weaver.
See, Tina got down in the grass trying to figure out which way to go, and she gets loose and turns around. It's really a shame.
88 getting by.
It's a shame that happened. They were just trying to, they're not racing back to the flag. They're just trying to coast back to the flag, and Tina's motor won't start. Sponsored by Bassaret. That's underwear, I think.
That is correct. Women's
Ladies
lingerie.
underwear. Exactly right. It's going to be really exciting to have 2 women full-time in the series this year. Kelly Sutton and the Team Copaxson truck did not make this field, but she will be at Atlanta, our next race, and it's going to be great to have 2 women full-time in the Craftsman Truck Series.
And Kelly Sutton had a great run at Homestead, our last race of the season, so we expect to see some great things out of her when she's able to make the field, probably in Atlanta.
And Tina's a consistent competitor too. I mean, she always runs right around the top 15, top 20 trucks. So got a great new sponsor, and
she's with a great team. Thor Sport Racing. Jerry Cook's her crew chief. Was Matt Crafton's crew chief the last couple of years. So she's with a great team.
Now Carl Edwards back in again. How come?
Just continuing under this caution flag to tune on that truck. They got the right rear tire changed on that last stop. He had to go so slow, Rick. He wasn't caught up well enough. I'm guessing he came back in. I didn't see, but I'm guessing he came back in to get the other 2 tires so that so he could catch up without going a lap down.
Yeah, we obviously saw that he had a left rear tire down, so he came in the first time, put left sides on. Didn't want to take as much time to do all 4 tires because the field was coming. Came back in, as Michael said, to get the right side tires. Now he'll be good to go back in the lead lap. Fresh tires, and really, if these guys, I'm really surprised that a lot of these guys don't pit right now. We're 26 laps into this race, and we think the pit window is somewhere between 32 and 40. So I'm really surprised that a lot of these guys have not chosen to pit.
Ray, what do you think the story is on that? Can you dig around down there and see what anybody's got to say? Why didn't we see trucks on pit road?
Well, they've all said that the pit road is not open. They've had a person up on the top looking down saying the flag shows it's not open yet.
That is an excellent reason there, Ray, for those guys.
That's a pretty good reason. Now, a few people did come in. As you documented, the 99 was in. We see David Starr is in the 75, but those guys know they're going to be at the tail end anyway. Now, we do expect Dennis Setzer to come down, Mike Skinner, a whole bunch of others. We're checking out on what everybody's going to do here, and we'll let you know real soon.
Dennis Setzer running very well out in front in the Chevy Silverado, number 46. Mike Wallace, we had mentioned, changed an engine, went to the back of the field, has worked his way all the way up to second, running very well in that position.
Bobby Hamilton, the Square D Dodge, also coming back down pit road. They're continuing to work on that truck to try to get it put back together, get the toe end straightened out, because he's got such a great truck. And I think if they get the tires aligned, Michael, I think he's really going to have a good truck again.
And we're looking at the 08 of Ken Weaver, Ken Dreamweaver. In the 08, they gave him a black flag for not adhering to the caution.
He didn't slow down quick enough.
And he got into the back of Robert Huffman, we believe, and Robert got spun around.
You know, Bobby, we were talking about Bobby Hamilton a second ago. He was unable to keep up with that lead pack when he went back to green flag racing. But Phil, he only fell back 15, 20 truck lengths. You wonder if maybe he was just trying to fill out what that Square D Dodge was going to be like. And now that he's had a little bit more time to work on it and adjust on it, he could still yet be a contender. I didn't see enough damage on that truck to think that maybe he couldn't still climb back into contention.
I didn't either. And you know, he's a pretty cagey veteran, so he wanted to feel that truck out a little bit and say, hey, I know there's going to be another caution flag. Or if the truck feels fine after a few laps, then I know I'm going to, when these guys get 3 wide, I'm going to catch that pack anyway.
We just saw the red flag still for pit road, and Carl Edwards in that 99 had some problems, and probably why he lost that tire was zooming down pit road.
No, he got hit in the left rear. Well, that's why he zoomed down pit road, Rick. You could see right there, he just comes over on the 59 truck. LaJoy held his ground, but that has to be the fastest anybody's ever gone down pit road. Those guys didn't lose a spot.
Yeah, there's his tire came off, the tread came off the tire. It was already flat. Then he just trying to get back to the pits as fast as he could, because at this point the green flag is still out. He knows he's got to try to get back to the pits as fast as he can, because he's losing such precious time.
And as he was spinning, they brought the caution flag out. Ken Weaver again getting the black flag for not adhering to that caution flag, getting into the back of the 12 of Robert Huffman, and then that causing the melee in front of the grandstands.
Okay, we're 28 laps in.
Just over a quarter.
What are we going to do now? They're all going to have fresh tires again and go at it like a Chinese fire drill.
Be just like starting over.
Very disappointing for Tina Gordon in that 13. Had great runs in practice. She had a very impressive qualifying run in 13th, and she said she wasn't superstitious, it being Friday the 13th. But that truck being pulled back into the garage.
I don't really understand why that thing wouldn't crank up and go. She didn't hit anything, just made a loop, and now it won't start.
It didn't look like she hit anything. I wonder if they tried to push that truck down there to get it started. I didn't see him try to push it.
No, they went right up there and hooked onto it.
They probably will open pit road here momentarily, because
I see the green flag waving now, Phil.
Yeah, Tina's truck was actually parked at the exit to pit road, which is why they kept it closed. And here they come.
This is actually perfect timing for the first pit stop. These guys can get a real good gauge on their gas mileage right now.
Hey, Michael, how about Skinner, huh? Comes from 14th all the way up to the lead. He's just a tick loose, so they're going to work on air pressure on the right front on his Toyota. You see him on the bottom. He came off the track in 4th. On the very top of your triple pit, you see Dennis Setzer. They're going to put some tape on the bottom of his front grille there. They want to try to get the oil temperature up. 4,500 in second gear. Now, Wendy, how about Mike Wallace?
Our inaugural winner from Daytona, Mike Wallace, in for 4 tires. He lost radio communication at the start of the race. They have it back. Crew Chief Donnie Richardson says the truck is a little free. They're making an air pressure adjustment, 1 pound up on the right front. Now Travis Quapple is also in for 4 tires. He's been very free all night long. He said they're making an air pressure and a track bar adjustment as well.
Racing off pit road. And our first major pit stops taking place on lap 29. We'll be back with more racing after this. Tune in to Speed tomorrow at 8 p.m. for a special edition of Inside Nextel Cup. Alan Bestwick will host the special Daytona 500 edition along with his famous cast of characters, Johnny Benson, Ken Schrader, and our own Michael Waltrip. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Speed. Joining him will be Kevin Harvick and DJ Dale Jarrett.
Pretty good lineup.
Very good lineup. We've been told from NASCAR that Robert Huffman has been released from the Care Center. And so the driver of the number 12 Toyota Tundra out of the Care Center and is okay. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Florida Dodge Dealers 250 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Nextel. Coast to coast, walkie-talkies in under a second. NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. And by Castrol GTX. Provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. Randall LaJoie's crew going to work on the number 59, taking care of some body damage that was done there, and that probably is not the ideal tool for that job. But let's take a look at the Craftsman Tool Tech update with Ray Dunlap.
No matter what racetrack we go to, you're going to see truck teams need to cut parts and pieces off of their truck at some time. Now, every team has a saw somewhere in their toolbox, but when they see this baby, everybody's going to have a Craftsman twin cutter. It's a 7.8 amp motor, but here's what's really cool. Check this out. The upper blade goes counterclockwise, and at the exact same time, the under blade goes clockwise, and that puts some really good cutting action right here at the center of the teeth. Now watch this. This thing will cut through metal at any time. When the teams see this one, these babies are going to be flying off the shelf.
Well, David Ruderman on this round of pit stops came in 5th and went out 8th. Crew Chief Jason Overstreet said the truck was a little light on the front end. They took 4 tires, but no adjustments for David Ruderman. Now you've seen Bobby Hamilton's come in 3 times on this round of pit stops. They're erring on the side of caution. They came in, they checked the toe, they went back around, they came back in the pits, they changed tires, and then they came around for a 3rd time and double-checked the toe. They'll go to the tail end of the longest line because he pitted before the leaders.
Easy for Wendy to say that. Toe to tail. Green flag flies, and we're back underway with the Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
Ruderman actually returned to the track in 5th, just where he pitted, and you know, he's a rookie, Phil. He's never seen this place, but never been in this situation before. Got off to kind of a shaky start, but he's done a nice job putting that truck up front. Bobby Kennedy, a tremendous amount of experience, of course, on these tracks and these type racing vehicles.
Race for the lead right there. Travis Kvapil on the outside, trying to take away the top spot from Dennis Setzer.
Mike Wallace making them 3 wide. Ray, what you got?
Well, Michael, Hank Parker Jr. is in the Daytona USA Toyota. They're having problem with ignition boxes. The last time he came in, they actually took the 2 out that were in the truck and replaced them. He said every time he comes through 3 and 4, they just drop out. He loses power. So they came in here and work on the wiring. He heads back to the racetrack.
Very, very tight 3 wide action at Ken Weaver, the 08 lap truck on the inside, and there wasn't a whole lot of room down there.
Sparks flying as we enjoy the first night race for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Daytona International Speedway.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's got me tore up. This is crazy.
Ted Musgrave on the outside, the Mopar Dodge going for the lead.
Steve Park giving him a little push in the Orleans Dodge, and Ted Musgrave will take over the top spot as they work their way through 3 and 4. Ray, what's going on?
Musgrave came on the radio just a little bit ago and said, guys, what's the story with those tires? I was a little worried about it. Everybody told him the tires look great. He said the truck's handling wonderful.
Wow.
That's not very often that Ted Musgrave says the truck's handling wonderful.
Ted Musgrave can be leading a race going away, and they make major adjustments on pit stops.
These guys are getting too aggressive, Phil. With this bump drafting, they're going to turn somebody into the wall, and that's exactly what happened.
Hard. You see smoke coming out.
Matt Crafton had some damage there in the 6 truck of Kevin Harvick.
You got up pro outside. You're clear to the bottom, Steve. Come all the way to the bottom.
I just was commenting. I'm seeing way too much bump drafting. You don't need to be doing all that stuff this early in the race.
We still have 65 laps to go in this race.
A bunch of them don't have that many to go. Yeah. Like Matt Crafton's got some trouble there. I don't know if he was the bump drafter or just got caught up in the aftermath. Barely touched him. That'll do it at 180, 90 miles an hour, Phil.
Sure, well, these trucks aren't necessarily completely under control either. It doesn't take much to get these trucks out of shape, and you see Steve there. He was, I mean, how many wrecks down do we see in the middle of the straightaway?
That's exactly right. It's uncalled for. Bump drafting has become way too serious. You know why they do it and why because they're able to do it. These trucks punch such big holes in the air that the trailing truck can come up and hit the truck in front and push him ahead. Done properly, it works great. Miss it a little bit and you'll have what you had there where Steve got turned into the outside wall. Like, Ken Weaver is a rookie. I don't want a rookie bump drafting me. He just hit Steve too hard and turned him into the outside wall.
Probably didn't hit him exactly square like you need to keep him turning somebody sideways.
And he's a lap down on top of that. A couple of laps down.
See him right there, he was outside.
And he came across.
And he came across and hit him while he was doing that, and it just turned the right front of Steve's truck right into the outside wall.
How many wide are they back? They're 4 or 5 wide. Trying to get through that mess. And
Matt Crafton, the victim of circumstances there. He must have, I don't know if maybe in the aftermath he just punted somebody a little bit. We heard a little bit of his radio traffic saying that he thought that the oil pump belt had come off the truck. So you see
oil.
See how shiny his tires are right there. That's oil that's gotten on his tires. So it's probably going to be the end of his day. There you see how shiny his tires are right there. That's probably going to be the end of his day, unfortunately.
Truck looks pretty though, you know, with those shiny tires.
Looks like a show truck. Too bad for Matt Crafton, making the move from the 88 into the 6, and having problems there at Daytona. Tune into Speed tomorrow for all your final Nextel Cup practice. The drivers will hit the track at 9 a.m. Eastern for 1 hour, and then be back on the track at 10:30 a.m. for final practice happy hour. It's the final time the drivers will be on the track before the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. live on Speed. Ray?
Well, great amount of damage down here to the Orleans Dodge for Steve Park. And Steve, I think the problem is your truck was white and everybody thought you were a ping pong ball or something. You were bouncing off everybody.
I tell you what, I mean, I know Daryl's up in the booth, but I mean, his guy needs a driving lesson too from Daryl, because he got us involved in the first wreck. Got us up in Bobby Hamilton, had a great race truck, and it's a shame for him. And Ken Weaver, the 08 is all I know. Just turned me sideways, come down the front, and turned me into the wall in the back. So, I mean, the replay tells it all, and I'm just trying to learn who everybody is and trying to keep my nose clean. The Orleans Dodge, man, it was a fast race truck. I mean, we started 22nd and drove our way up into the top 10 and had a good race truck. It's just a shame we sit here now, you know. We still felt, even though we lost 2 laps in the pits, that we'd be able to gain some back. And
is it fixable?
I don't know. It's pretty tore up. I mean, it hit the wall pretty good. These guys on the Orleans Dodge are going to try to fix it. And just want to thank Michael Gahn for giving me the opportunity. We didn't want it to end up like this. Dodge is a great partner with all of us. And Jeff Waller, Waller.com. I mean, just really good people. It's a shame we couldn't put this Orleans Dodge up towards the front tonight, because it deserved to be there.
Okay, let's check in with Wendy.
Well, thanks, Ray. Matt Crafton sits on pit road. His truck turned off. Let's talk to car owner Kevin Harvick. Kevin, what's the latest on the situation?
I think it knocked a hole in the oil filter, but Matt was doing a good job. We just got the same truck wrecking out there all the time, so we just got to get it fixed and make sure it's right, and so we can finish.
Kevin Harvick looking for his team to have a good finish tonight.
Very possibly, Phil, he damaged that engine getting it back, too. They won't run too well without oil.
Well, they sure won't, because Matt obviously knew something was wrong, because he must have seen the oil pressure gauge go down to 0, and if you run those things very long with no oil pressure, it's going to do some pretty irreparable damage.
Mike Skinner coming in for some work on the Toyota Tundra number 42.
Must be a fuel strategy situation. They cleaned the grill and put a little gas in that truck and sent him on his way.
Steve Park not talking very nicely about the 08 of Ken Weaver. He's got a black flag for aggressive driving. We'll be back. One of Speed Channel's best shows is moving to a new time. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain beginning February 16th can be seen at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday through Thursday. As always, one of the most knowledgeable men in all of auto racing. Dave will take your calls and emails live on virtually any racing subject. And the Daytona 500 winner will join him on Monday. That's Wind Tunnel Monday through Thursday. New time, 10 p.m. Eastern.
You're hoping to be on that show, aren't you, Michael?
Yes.
Monday.
I would like to be a guest on many shows on Monday. That's pretty cool gig when you win the Daytona 500. You get to go be a part of a media circus, and obviously that's pretty cool for your sponsors. Wendy, what's going on in the pits?
Well, we talked to Jack Sprague's team. He didn't like that first set of tires, so they came in, they changed the 4 tires, made an air pressure adjustment on the right rear, and then they just came back in again to top it off, and they also added tape to the grill.
You know, I said earlier, everybody's going to get a call. That's our first Jack Sprague call there. He is driving like a veteran, a guy that's just kind of chilling out, letting all this stuff stir up, and hopefully be around at the end. We saw pit stops filled by a bunch of the leaders and trucks that have been in contention. I think they look at it as 60 to go. They can split it up now with one more stop at lap with 30 to go and make it to the finish.
Yeah, I think it gets every one of these guys in their pit window, so they know that they can make it, as you mentioned, on one more pit stop. But you know what? This racing has been so exciting, side by side, 3 wide, that you almost get used to it. But folks, this doesn't happen everywhere. This is amazing racing.
Travis Kvapil leading the field to the start-finish line.
Green flag.
35 trucks.
Dennis Setzer made it 3 wide to get by the lap truck of Hank Parker Jr. and David Ruderman in the 17 truck.
There are 35 trucks still showing up on the scoring monitor, but Matt Crafton and Steve Park obviously not out on the track right now.
We haven't talked about Shane Meal much, the 15 truck. He's made a great move. Looks like he's battling for the 6th position right now with Chad Chaffin, 6 or 7.
Yeah, they were real strong in practice and made some changes to that truck just before qualifying that obviously didn't work out, but he's fought his way back to the front.
And as they go by the start-finish line, let's take a listen to the sounds of speed. Finish line. The man on the move, the defending race winner, Rick Crawford, started at the back of the pack because of an engine change all the way up into 4th position.
Running right on the bottom of the racetrack. I talked to Ray Stonkus. He said he was contemplating a gear change. He said, I'm going to gear this truck to run up high. I think that's the place to be. I said, how many laps did you lead last year? He said, oh, we led a bunch of them. I said, where did you run? On the bottom. I said, what changed? He said, well, maybe the tires changed.
David Woodman with an impressive pass there. He was by the number 2 Team ASC Car Club Dodge.
I hate to even say that these guys have really calmed down at the front of the pack.
Well,
of course, that second group's not too calm there.
I don't think I can say it again either, Phil.
Now the 4 trucks have moved out in front of this pack. Can 4 trucks move away from the pack?
No, not at all. Due to the fact of the air, Rick, that we talked about. You know, just they blow so much air around. You see the two there. Ray, he started in the back, but he's made his way up through the field pretty nicely.
Yeah, and Mike, they've been pretty happy with the performance on this race truck. As Wendy told you at the top of the show, of course, it is a backup, the truck they planned on taking to Atlanta. They talked about coming in and topping off before we went green on this last time, but Dennis Conner, the crew chief, said, I just don't think we can give up that track position. We don't want to be back there in all that mess. So they decided they'll wait later and get their fuel. Now these guys are thinking they can get to like lap 68. If they get to 68, everybody's in the clear to make it all the way on one more stop.
Got a couple of guys that have pitted and ensured that they're set to go with one more stop. But there's some guys out there that didn't make that last pit stop and still have a little bit of a question what they can do.
They sure don't want to make a pit stop under green and everybody else catch the caution flag, because that'll put you a lap down in a hurry.
Boy, a caution every now and then sure does help my heart rate. This is tough watching this stuff.
Look, about 6th position on the outside there to 0-3 of Jeffrey Bodine. That's the first time we've talked about him today, but he's a former Daytona 500 winner here, so he knows how to get around this racetrack.
There's Mike Skinner in the Toyota Tundra number 42.
He made a pit stop, put himself back in the field, got enough gas to where he could make it on one more stop, and now he's fighting his way back up through the field.
Stuck in the middle there, the Federated Auto Parts 52 of Mike Wallace, and everyone talking about how well that truck was running. Wendy?
Well, Mike Wallace, he pitted under caution with the 6 and the 16. What happened was he ran over debris and punctured that right rear tire, so they came in and took right side tires only.
We'll take a look at what Wendy was talking about.
Whoa.
Whoa. John Wood, the Pennzoil Ford, the number 50 truck.
Oh. Rudiman squeezed Crawford down to the apron, and see the momentum Crawford lost. He was up under David. David kind of shut the door on him a little bit.
Battle for second place. That's Dennis Setzer making the move on Ted Musgrave. Musgrave gets hung out up high.
Bringing Shane Meal with him in the 15 truck, the Billy Ballou truck.
Look at that pack wadded up in the back there. That was all as a result of Crawford getting off the gas. Setzer to the lead, bringing Shane with him.
Travis Quapple backing up.
Earlier in the week, Michael, did you not say Shane Meal was your dark horse pick for this race?
Yeah, Shane's got the experience in drafting to do the job. It's a DEI engine under the hood of that truck. We know DEI success here at Daytona. You can see here, this is a replay of Rudiman and Crawford. They got together coming to the tri-oval there.
I think that was a case where I don't think David Rudiman knew that Crawford was there, because it wasn't a drastic move to try to block him. It was more of a normal line through the tri-oval there. So I just don't think he knew he was there.
Oh, he got a little sideways off of 2 there. These things are moving around quite a lot, Phil. The trucks are seemingly loose. Shane Meal to the lead.
Bringing the 24, Travis Quapple with him. How about Frank Kimmel? Another, what a great job he's doing in that K Automotive Ford number 29.
Well, we just keep on going down the list, Phil. There's 2 more, Shane and Kimmel.
We can check them off. We've talked about them.
They've been to the lead. They've been to the front of the pack.
Shane Meal going to the top of the scoring pole.
Shane has the fastest lap in this race. Did that back on lap 7. Ran over 190 mile an hour.
8 different leaders in this race already. Ray, what's going on?
Hey, Rick, Frank Kimmel's been on the radio saying, I think this truck is absolutely perfect. I've never had anything that rides so nice here. And keep in mind, K Automotive has been great here at this racetrack. Dennis Setzer had an 8th place finish with him, and Terry Cook a 6th, and a 4th. So these guys have been in the top 10 every time. 29 is running good. Moves to 2nd for Kimmel.
And a bunch of trucks and problems coming out of turn number 4 as they enter the tri-oval. It doesn't look as though anyone got into the wall.
I know the 14 truck of Rick Crawford was involved in it. I think Rick Crawford may have a flat tire.
He has damage to the right front fender, Phil.
So I think he's just trying to get out of the way right there.
Can he, though, without causing a wreck?
That may have been Chad Chapin that almost was sideways coming out of turn number 4.
That was a great job of driving to save that thing. We looked up and there was about 2 trucks sideways, looked like.
Here comes Rudiman.
Let's take a look back at that coming out of turn 4.
See the 14 truck of Rick Crawford right there. He's going to come to the inside. I think he's going to make contact with Chad Cheff, and Chad may have come up a little bit.
Well, Crawford got sideways, Phil, and his nose. Oh, we got one wrecking off turn 4.
Oh, a big accident off turn number 4.
Mike Skinner, the 42. Ted Musgrave, the 1.
That's a super speedway crash.
Joey Clanton in the 40. Oh, man.
59 of Randy LaJoy. Looks like the 8 maybe of Chase Montgomery.
We saw the pole sitter, Terry Cook slide through that mess without any damage.
There's Bobby Hamilton getting going. There's Randy LaJoy. Look at the right front tire there. It's not supposed to be there, Michael.
Shortened up his wheelbase on that right side. Bobby's got some damage to the left front. Bobby Hamilton, I'm speaking of. You can see Randy there's in trouble.
Ted Musgrave, unbelievable. 2 years in a row, they've had problems with that Mopar Dodge.
Phil, you had to see that coming.
It was. The way these trucks are dancing around, and these guys, they're running 2 and 3 wide. There's Ken Weaver, Joe Aramendia, 2 and 3 wide. These trucks dancing around. This racetrack is not as wide as Talladega. Talladega seems like it's about 2 lanes wider than this one. There's just not enough room to do that.
Serious damage to the 8 of Chase Montgomery. Outside pole was his starting position. And his evening is done.
I'm going to say between 10 and 12 trucks, Phil, off turn 4.
See Shelby Howard, the 23 truck on pit road with a lot of damage. There's Shane Sieg, the 07 truck with quite a bit of front end damage.
We saw Ted getting caught up in that, so it must have been a problem at the front because Ted was leading the race.
Right front's rolling now.
Jack Sprague is backing down pit road with some damage. There's Jack Sprague right there, our 3-time champion back in the series full time.
Tracy Hines in the 88. You see that truck at the back of pit road. Mentioned the 40 of Joey Clanton also involved sliding.
The accident occurred about mid-pack, Rick. Somebody on the bottom of the racetrack. I couldn't really get an eyeball on it. Let's see a replay on it here.
This is the beginning of the accident.
Oh, it looked like the 16 truck of Sprague was up under Tracy Hines, Phil.
Yeah.
He had made a move under Tracy. Tracy didn't know he was there. Those trucks got together.
And it just slid them right back up in front of all these trucks coming. As you mentioned, it was mid-pack, but the pack was as many trucks on the racetrack. That's how big the pack was.
Ted Musgrave looked as though he was slowing down. He was leading earlier, just a lap before, and looked as though he was slowing down on the inside of the track and got caught up in all this. Maybe he was coming in for a stop.
You see Jack Sprague get turned around sideways, and the truck turns back around, goes back up the racetrack, right in front of all these trucks.
Wow.
And you can see what those guys see. Absolutely nothing. Just smoke.
Let's check out some of these guys that did a good job slipping through this deal.
Sprague got hit pretty hard there by Musgrave. There's Bobby Hamilton sliding around.
That's a track blocker, Phil. Nobody got through it.
Well, there's Ken Weaver coming in and hitting the 31 of J.R. Aramendia really, really hard.
And we apologize. We would be showing you in truck cameras or onboard cameras, but again, I wanted to let you know the ceiling, the clouds are just so low over the track that our helicopter is not able to fly over the track to give us that coverage, and so we will not be able to bring those onboards to you. But
there's Andy Houston. I didn't know that he was in this accident.
Terrible damage for many, many trucks, and we'll get you updated on as many of them as we can.
That's 2 trucks in 2 days for that team.
Ultra Motorsports team. A year ago, Ted Musgrave lost a tire and it went right into the 2 of Jason Leffler, and both trucks were taken out in the same accident, and 1 year later the same thing happens.
Can you imagine 2 years in a row losing both your trucks in the same accident?
Randy LaJoy in the number 59. Problems as well. Caution number 5 came out because of this.
God. Vicious, Rick.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Florida Dodge Dealers 250 live on Speed. The crowd getting their money's worth. the big one happening as they came out of turn number 4. A lot of trucks involved in our 5th caution. They're still sorting out all the damage at the entrance to pit road.
Yeah, for that reason, pit road will be closed until they get all the debris and the trucks cleaned off. This is the start of it right here. You see the 16 of Jack Sprague. He's going to come down a little bit on the 88 of Tracy Hines, but it's not, I don't think it's a situation where he just turned left to come down. These trucks are moving around so much, Michael. His truck probably just went that way, and he had no control over it.
The 88 throwing smoke up, leading in front of this entire pack. Nobody can see what's going on.
Yeah, and Tracy Hines didn't. He was a victim of circumstance. He just was minding his own business right on the bottom of the road. And either Jack didn't realize he was under him and dove for the bottom, or the truck might have gotten sideways with Jack a little bit.
I believe that's Mike Skinner.
Mike Skinner
was just in front of Tracy Hines and made it down pit road.
I think Mike had some damage though.
Yeah.
There aren't many trucks that didn't have some damage from this accident.
Ray?
Well, you're right. There is some damage on Mike Skinner's Toyota, but it's on the right front. It's not enough to knock him out of this race, but they...
Well, we're working our 5th caution period here during the Florida...
And we hope that's not enough to knock Ray out of the race. We'll try to get back to Ray. Having a little technical difficulty with that microphone, but Mike Skinner. These are the trucks that were involved in this last crash.
It's like 15, 16 trucks involved in this wreck. Boy, when they're running so close together like this, it's just so hard to avoid something.
Add Bobby Hamilton to that list.
Bobby was definitely involved in that accident.
His crew should get overtime pay tonight. They've been working on that truck since they said go.
Mike Skinner was involved in that accident, so now we're up to what, 17?
There you can see Bobby got a little bit more damage this time. Be interesting to see if they've got anything left up there to put back together, Phil.
They've been working on this thing continuously since that earlier accident with Steve Park.
Battle of attrition.
Well, you can hang around and try to be conservative and be careful and do all those things to try to miss the wreck. Or you can do like David Rudiman's done. He's charged. He's gotten that truck to the front. He's been stuck in the middle a few times, slid back, but he's always had a fast enough truck to fight back to the front. He was running second when that wreck takes place. He doesn't get involved in it. Ray, what's going on with Skinner?
Well, Michael, I had a little wreck here too with my equipment, but we're back online. And Mike, it looked to me like things were pretty wild out there. I guess you saw that coming, right?
Yeah, they've been trying to wreck. For about 4 laps there, and finally got it done. This little Tundra was awful fast. I'll tell you, if this is anything to come, the way these Toyotas are going to run, we're going to be pretty good this year. This is one of many races. It's a shame. I really felt like we could win the race.
I was pretty amazed at how quickly you were able to get up to the front.
Yeah, I think it took us about 3/4 of a lap to get to second.
That's pretty good, but these guys will be back in the race, no doubt about it. They've got to secure this radiator here and do a little bit of work on the right front, but it's definitely not enough to put them out of the race. And we'll get you an update on Sprague here in just a second. He's behind the wall, not too far from where we're at.
We've seen a list of who was involved in the accident. Guys that weren't involved in the accident: Dennis Setzer, David Rudiman, Frank Kimmel, John Wood, Carl Edwards, Travis Quapple, Jeffrey Bodine, Shane Meal, Mike Wallace, Chad Chaffin, Terry Cook, Rick Crawford, Bill Lester. All of these guys still on lead lap. Wayne Edwards, David Starr, Randy McDonald, Bobby Hamilton having a little damage, Stedman Marlin rounding out the trucks that are still on the lead lap. 18 in all. Speed Channel's coverage of the Florida Dodge Dealers 250 continuing. We are under caution number 5. The big one took place just outside of turn number 4. And it looks as though trucks will now come down and make stops.
Pit road is definitely open.
Big accident took place. David Rudiman leads the field down pit road. Ray?
Dennis Setzer is coming in here in his new black 46 Chevrolet. Keep in mind, he's on the heels of 20 consecutive top 10s, and they believe they have a truck that could win it here today. Dennis says, let's put a little bit of air in the right front, and now we'll go to Wendy.
He said, don't make any changes, he'll deal with it.
Rudman came to the pit road and Darrell's NCN Bearings truck with the lead. He's not going to leave with it, however.
So Mike Wallace won 52 truck drive by him. Looked like Dennis said, so there's John Wood driving by him. I'll tell you, we've run 58 laps now, Michael. We said the pit window was 32 to 40. And typically the Fords have been getting some really good fuel mileage here at Daytona. A couple more laps, will be 40 laps to go. Will we see these Fords try to stretch it from here? Will they come back in, top it back off, and try to make this thing with on the fuel they have?
It's a good question. You know, we've seen a lot of caution flags, Phil. I would almost bet that now that we've weeded out a bunch of trucks, the things, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to go out on a limb here, things are going to calm down somewhat as we race over the next 20 or 30 laps until we get down to the end where they're going to shoot it out.
Next Sunday, the world's best drivers return to Fox for the Subway 400 at The Rock. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Stewart lead the field for 17 weeks of high-speed thrills and excitement when NASCAR returns to Fox next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I believe Frank Kimmel stayed out that last time.
He did stay out. I don't know if that means he's not in his pit window and he feels like there's no need to come in now, or maybe he may be looking at pit road right now. He is looking at pit road. He is coming in. Now, I don't really understand, unless he felt like he could go 41 laps and not 42, why he waited this lap to pit.
It could be the fact that he just felt like that one more lap would make the difference and get him in the window.
Frank Kimmel brings the Advanced Auto Parts 29 in for service.
Family race team, they're going to put right side tires on. I'm sure they'll come around and put 4 tires on this thing.
You can see them adding Sunoco race fuel. That's something new and different for 2004 as well.
We haven't said that before. In how many, 50 years of NASCAR, we haven't said people come in to put Sunoco fuel in here. So great run by Frank Kimmel. He was up front before that accident, and that's one of the reasons he still has a straight truck and really in contention to win this thing.
5-time ARCA champion, Frank Kimmel.
50 ARCA wins. I know we've been fortunate enough to win an ARCA race in our careers. Ken Schrader's one of the best ARCA drivers we have, isn't he, Mike?
Yeah, and he's a tremendous talent out on the West Coast, too. He really gets the job done when he heads out there.
Ray?
Hey, guys, keep in mind he finished second here last Sunday in the ARCA REMAX Series race. That's his best career finish here at Daytona, and Frank told me that that was one of the best cars he had ever had. They really improved their program. It's a family-run operation there for those guys, but he said on the radio here just a little bit ago, don't change anything on this truck. It is driving absolutely great. So Kimmel has been satisfied. I don't think they've even made an air pressure adjustment on that truck tonight.
Yeah, I talked to his guys this morning, and they said they were very, very happy with the truck. He was out there. We had the practices right here on live on Speed Channel, and he said they were getting pretty wild out there, so he elected to quit a little bit early, keep that truck in one piece, and he's got a great piece.
With just 41 laps to go, let's take a look at what has taken place in the first 59 laps. Early on, bumping and banging. Steve Park getting spun around, slides into the infield.
We're going to take a look at Carl Edwards with Randy LaJoy. Carl on the outside, the white truck comes down on Randy LaJoy, sends him straight down pit road at 180 miles an hour. The problem was he had a flat tire from this incident. He was trying to, there's his flat tire right there. He was trying to get back to pit road as fast as he could. He got turned around here with no left rear tire on the truck.
And as that spin came out, the yellow came out.
And the 08 truck drove into the back of Robert Huffman, spun him around, put him in the wall. They black flagged the 08, gave him a lap penalty for failing to slow down when the caution flag came out. The rule in NASCAR these days is when the caution flies, you just slow down.
And as you mentioned, the 08 into the back of the 62 right there. Another black flag for the 08 of Ken Weaver. And Steve Park not happy.
Matt Craftsman had a little bit of damage here, poked a hole in the oil filter. Owner Kevin Harvick said, so he lost a few laps. And here comes the big one.
You can see there, Harvick, excuse me, Sprague came down in a space that was occupied by Tracy Hines. And Lord, look at that mess.
And we saw the 16 of Jack Sprague involved right at the beginning. Jack Sprague is now standing by with her own Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, actually he's sitting by. He's still in the truck. Now, keep in mind, back in a couple of years ago when Mike Bliss won the championship with this team, they finished 33rd here at Daytona, so this may not be awful. But, Jack, Daytona has not been very kind to you over the years.
Not the trucks, anyway, but I tell you, the Chevy truck Chevrolet was pretty awesome. And I was taking it easy and being careful, and every time I do that, I get myself in trouble. So, you know, we pitted there with Mike and went back to the back with Mike Wallace there, and we were coming up through there. I don't know where we got to, but I could see the front pretty close, and the truck was awesome. And well, he said clear, and I come down to follow Mike, and either I got hit in the back or I wasn't clear, I'm not sure. So rather than pass judgment and say something I shouldn't say, I just didn't wait and watch it. But it's unfortunate. I mean, we had a great truck, and I'm just waiting for the last 20 laps to let her loose, but we didn't get there.
Okay, and we go back to green here on lap 61.
Jack Sprague talked about Mike Wallace and he going to the back of the pack, and right now Mike Wallace is at the front of the pack.
And not for long. Dennis Setzer gets a good run on the inside in that Chevy Silverado.
Take a look at who's in fourth right now. Jeffrey Bodine.
He's actually in third now, Rick.
That'll change.
Here comes Travis Quapple on the outside, the Line X24.
You know, Travis Quapple's been one of the trucks that has consistently been able to make his way to the front. You mentioned David Ruderman the same way. There's 2 or 3 of these guys that have consistently run up front.
Let's see if these two, they're running 5th and 6th right now. Let's see if they can fight their way to the lead again.
Wendy, what have you got on David?
Well, to follow up on his pit stop, he came down first, but he went out 7th. The problem was they had a left front lug nut fall off that tire. His truck's being pitted tonight by Kyle Petty's Cup team. He was complaining the truck was a little tight, but he says, I will deal with it. He's happy with the truck. They took 4 tires, and he's out 7th.
Phil, you mentioned consistency earlier with Travis Quapple. He only missed 1 lap all of last year in that 16 IWX Chevrolet. And already the 16 IWX Chevrolet in problems in the first lap or the first race of the year.
But not Quapple. You know, he's still on pace to grab another top 10 finish. His year last year was amazing.
It sure was, such consistency. But and he ran up front. He only won 1 race, but he finished second, I think, 3 times. And when he finished second, he was less than a car length behind or a truck length behind in like 2 of the 3 second place finishes.
And the other guy that had amazing consistency was Dennis Setzer, breaking a record in a single season for the most top 10 finishes in a row, and he's looking to add on that tonight.
Yeah, he finished the season with 20 top 10 finishes in a row. Another incredibly consistent year. And that's no secret as to why those guys were 1 and 2 in the national championship.
John Wood tucking in behind Dennis Setzer now.
Jeffrey Bodine
try to pull away.
Jeffrey Bodine battling his way back up to that 3rd position. Sliding up the track, trying to get ahead of Carl. Carl says, no, thank you, sir. Oh, got a little tight there off 4.
Remember, Jeffrey was involved in an accident in happy hour last night. He got kind of forced into the wall by Andy Houston, but his guys, led by Steve May, put that truck back together, fixed all the damage on the right side. He's got a pretty good truck right now, well up into the top 10.
Jeffrey was involved in the worst wreck I've ever seen here in the inaugural truck race. Hey, I said inaugural.
That's been a tough one.
You said it correct. Practically perfect.
3 wide.
And it still seems like they're dicing and dashing around on this track even after the accident.
But let's not blame it, just dancing and dicing around on the tires. They're doing that on the straightaway. It's from contact by other trucks. Sprague said his spotter said he was cleared and he went down. Obviously, nothing to do with the tires. It's just a situation where these guys, you can tell they hadn't raced in a few months because they're just really being aggressive.
But you would think that driving through an accident like we saw with about 15, 17 trucks involved would take a little bit of wind out of their sails, but it sure hasn't.
NASCAR has let me know that the 88 of Tracy Hines, the 08 of Ken Weaver, and the 40 of Joey Clanton all they've been checked out and reviewed in the care center and released.
That's good news.
We talked earlier about the 24 of Wappel and the 17 of Rudiment always fighting their way to the front. They've lost a few spots here, Phil, and aren't being able to get back up through there like they had earlier.
A reminder, folks, not only have we created a lot of smoke that has almost made a roof on the top of the Daytona International Speedway, but the cloud cover has eliminated the opportunity for us to have onboards, because normally the signals are shot up to a helicopter that flies right above the track and then sent back down to our truck so that we can get that signal. And that helicopter cannot actually fly because the roof is so low here and the ceiling is so low that the helicopter can't go up.
Michael, I'm not sure I would be able to sit and watch those onboard cameras and some of the views they've seen.
I'm amazed at the way these cats are going at it tonight.
Chad Sheff in the 18 Dickies Dodge. Looked like he got out of the throttle there a little bit, allowed the 22 of Bill Lester to drive up on the outside of him.
Side by side, Bill Lester and Chad Chaffin used to be teammates a year ago.
These guys will want to work this deal out, get it single file before that big pack in front of them gets away. You can see the deal's kind of breaking up.
Sparse looking as they go down the backstretch.
Of course, when you take about 15 good trucks out of the mix, that has a tendency to spread them out a little bit.
John Wood taking a high line as they go through the corner.
You know, Michael, you touched on the tires, and that's been a big story here for the last week at Daytona, talking about the softer tires that Goodyear brought as Carl Edwards drives to the lead on the outside of Dennis Setzer. But I talked to a lot of the crew chiefs and drivers in the garage area this morning, and all these guys said, hey, we have not had any problems with the tires. We have 40 laps on our tires. We have 50 laps on our tires, some with 55 laps on our tires, and have seen no problems.
Goodyear is amazing to me. You know, NASCAR said we want a little bit softer tire, want to wear out a little bit sooner and make the trucks, make handling come into play. What they do, they produce that tire for everyone.
Carl Edwards has just become the 11th different leader of this race. And guys, I don't want to bring it up, but if you remember the last time he was leading this race, he caused an accident.
He's got a lot more experience now, though.
Here comes that 24 truck again, Michael, working his way back towards the front.
Ray, what have you got on Carl?
Hey, good news for the Ford guys that are all up front there. I just checked with Cowboy Starlin. He said they're okay to go on fuel. They can make it the rest of the way. I said, how close are you? He said, well, we got 1 or 2 extra laps. I said, I hope you don't want to see a green-white checker, right? He said, yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't be able to make it then. But Dennis Setzer is in a worse position because he cannot make it on fuel. They're going to be about 3 laps short the way it is right now. All they can hope for is that we get another caution here before the end of the race.
Carl Edwards, Terry Cook, Dennis Setzer on the inside line, Travis Kvapil in the Line X24, Mike Wallace in the 52 on the outside, and John Wood, the Roush teammate to Carl, who's leading right now, just behind them.
You know, it would be interesting to me to see the difference between, there's the 99, that's a Jack Roush truck, Jack Roush engine leading the race. The 10 truck with Terry Cook, that's a Robert Yates engine. Talked to Fred Wanke before the race, and he did not say that he was getting as good a fuel mileage as the Roush truck was. So it will be interesting to see if all the Fords can make it the rest of the way, or will it just be the Roush-powered Fords make it the rest of the way?
Look at Terry Cook moving up into second place, and Terry Cook has had extremely good success here. 6.2 average finish for Terry Cook. When you look at all of the drivers that have run all of the Daytona races here and their average finishes.
3 of those guys right there, Terry Cook, Rick Crawford, and Dennis Setzer, all in that lead draft right there.
These guys are still right on top of each other. No room for error when you operate that close to one another.
If I remember correctly, Terry Cook was in position to win this race a year ago when the white flag came out.
He actually, I think, had the lead on the last lap in this race, but what I found out 6 months later is that he had one of the, at that time, these trucks had ram induction air. They had 2-inch hoses on the front of these trucks, and that's where they got the fresh air into the intake. One of those hoses got knocked off, and that knocked about 30 horsepower out of his truck, and he fell down to 9th place at the end. Let's go down to Wendy.
Thanks, guys. Shane Mill, he's running up front in the pack. Before that last round of pit stops, he said he's loose but fast. They came in, made an air pressure adjustment on the right front and the left rear. They also made a track bar adjustment. We just checked back with the team, and they said he's still loose. But he did make a comment over the radio. He says, "Chevy power, baby, I'm loving it." That's a VEI engine in there, I believe. Let's go to Ray.
Hey, Wendy, it was lap 58 the last time when Terry Cook came in his Power Stroke diesel Ford, so they cannot make it all the way. Fred Wanke, the crew chief, said they just don't have enough, so I'm wondering what the Roush guys are telling me. I think they pitted a little bit later, but it was 58 when Cook came in, so they need fuel too.
We remember Bob Keselowski's crew there with Frank Kimmel. He pitted on that 59. And we thought maybe he thought that by pitting a lap later, he could make it. Just a little bit more drama to throw at you. Not that a 3 wide side by side all around the place isn't enough. Let's throw a fuel mileage strategy into the mix as well, Phil.
Still second pack right there, 2 wide. John Wood, the 50 truck on the inside, Pennzoil sponsorship. Chevy Silverado, the 46 truck of Dennis Setzer on the outside. There's Frank Kimmel back, and remember he made that late pit stop. He's trouble.
John Wood just was down on the inside of Frank Kimmel.
You're all right. Hold on to her.
Caution flag flies. That's caution 6.
Rolling. Keep her rolling.
Isn't it great that that NASCAR and the Speedway has paved that area coming off turn 2 there? If that would have been grass, there's no telling where that truck would have landed, but they had enough asphalt, it scrubbed off enough speed. John straightened that truck out, never even had to stop.
He needs to keep that thing slowed down, though. Those tires are severely flat spotted. He gets up too much speed, one of them blows out, and it'll rip the fenders plumb off that truck.
I think this will take the pit strategy out of the window, out of the situation, though, because all the guys that could not make it will come in now on this caution flag, and there's no question they'll be able to make it all the way.
Take a look at how we are under caution number 6.
John just got sucked around there. See that?
Yeah, just got loose, saved it, caught it one time, but the second time he couldn't quite save it. No contact from anybody, but did a pretty good job driving through the infield there. Thing turned around on him. He's going to straighten back out and never stop and get right back on.
He tried to stay off those brakes as much as he could, so not to flat spot those tires any worse than he had to, knowing that if he didn't hit anything, he needed to get to pit road and get some more tires. Rudeman there, checked up, missed the 50. He's had an eventful evening for his first trip to Daytona. He's seen it all, I think.
He's gonna say, I hope the second time I come to Daytona is going to be a little less eventful.
Check him out.
It's amazing when you have a truck on the outside of you like that. It just drops so much air off your rear spoiler. It just pulls it back into that truck around.
You hear the tires light up. You know, you're turning 7,500 RPMs, and you hear the back tire.
That's a bad sound.
You know you're in trouble. You don't even have to feel anything. You can tell by listening.
John Wood has come in, and he's back out onto the track. We've also been told that the 2 of Andy Houston, the Team ASE CarQuest Dodge driver of number 2, Andy Houston, has been released from the care center. Ray, what's going on?
Well, guys, John Wood was instructed to come down pit road because they knew they had flat spots on that right side, so they didn't want to go around the track and have a chance that those tires would blow out. If they did that, then they would rip the fenders all up. So Wood came up before they were supposed to pit, but that'll be okay because his truck's all right. Carl Edwards is in. He says he's just a tick tight, and Cowboy Starlin asked him, what do you want to do to it? He said, I don't want to change it. I like it being a little bit tight. It was way too loose earlier. I think we're okay. The good thing is we've got a bunch of Fords to work with. Wendy?
Well, Travis Quafflin, he says the truck has been a little free. They're making a wedge adjustment. They made an air pressure adjustment in all 4 tires. He came over the radio and said, it's a handful. I'm doing all I can, guys. Let's go to Ray.
Hey, Wendy, the 14 of Rick Crawford came in for a gas and go. They did not change tires, and I believe he's the first one off pit road. This may be a great strategy move for Crawford. I don't know if it's too late in the race to go without any tires. I'll see what you guys think, but Crawford, I believe, is going to get the lead here with a gas and go.
He won't get the lead, Ray, because the 29 truck stayed out. He thinks he's got enough gas, I guess, to make it to the end, stayed on the racetrack. So waiting an extra lap on the previous caution, if that allowed him to stay out of this during this caution and get the lead, that's a pretty good move.
There's been so much talk about the tires. Why would somebody like Travis Quaffle, who's in contention for this, not take tires?
maybe he just liked his truck. You know, he obviously was fighting his way back to the front. Maybe his truck was handling just the way he wanted it to. We know the tires aren't going to wear out.
But Wendy told us that he said his truck was a handful. Then they came in and did fuel only. Wendy, what do you have down there?
Let's go to Ray first.
Let's go to Ray.
Yeah, Rick, I wanted to update the 29 for you from Frank Kimmel. They decided to stay out there to make sure they lead a lap. They weren't sure if they were going to pit, and they wanted to talk it over a little bit more. So they said, stay out there one more lap. That way we get those 5 bonus points. So I'll check real quick here to see if Kimmel is going to come in. I don't know, from 59 all the way. Is this caution enough for them to go? I'm not sure. Wendy, what do you have?
Well, David Rudiman, he's been fast on the track, but he's had trouble in the pits all night tonight. This last pit stop, he came in and he slid past his box. They had to push him back. They took 4 tires and made an air pressure adjustment to free him up. Guys.
What a tough night for David Rudiman.
I wouldn't think that that 29 would have given up a shot at winning the race. You know, he's had a fast truck. He's been up front. He wouldn't want to have gone to the back just to get 5 points. He's going to make up a lot more points by staying up in the front.
Take a look at the 46 of Dennis Setzer. Seems like he's got a lot of tape on the right front. Did he get involved in a problem there early?
He did not make any contact with the 50 truck, but these guys have been 2 and 3 wide all evening, so there's no question that he's probably made contact with somebody, but they were definitely side by side, he and John Wood, but John Wood was on the inside, and the air just robbed off the spoiler enough to turn him around, but they did not make any contact. But you see a lot of tape on the front end of Dennis Setzer's truck.
They must have just decided it was time for a little housekeeping. You know, it's getting late in the race. Want to make sure we got our stuff right for the end. And there's only 15, 16 trucks on the lead lap. So he's going to fall to the back, but he's had a fast enough truck all night long to shoot to the front. Let's see if we can figure out.
It wasn't from the last caution. As we take a look at John Wood getting spun around the air, getting taken off the back of that truck. We'll be back with more Green Flag Racing after this. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Florida Dodge Dealers 250 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. And by Nextel coast-to-coast walkie-talkies in under a second. NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. Ray?
Well, Rick, Bob Keselowski just talked to Frank Kimmel on the radio here. Bob is the crew chief, and Frank just said he ran over something. Man, you got to be getting pretty nervous here. At first, I thought you were going to be worried about fuel, but I know you had asked Frank whether he wanted to pit or not.
Yeah, I did. My biggest concern now is he said all of a sudden we're loose on this set of tires. And he didn't ask for any adjustments. The stop before, he said the thing was driving great. Now this said he's loose. Our whole strategy here was to stop. You know, we kind of started at the rear of that deal because we were in our fuel window. We had to stop at the end of the pack there and stretch it out, but I didn't want to stop again after that. We put our new tires on. We're full of fuel and got a good track position. Man, I hate to give it up now. I sure hope he doesn't cry too much so about that set of tires.
Well, the good news is he's got a bunch of Fords out there to work with. He's driving Lucky Dog tonight. It's been lucky a lot before. We'll see if it's lucky tonight for Frank Kimmel.
Frank Kimmel, again, not coming in on that last set of pit stops that everybody else came in on.
You have a couple of guys right behind them that did fuel only, so they don't have as fresh a tires as some of the guys behind them. Rick Crawford and Travis Wapple both elected to do a fuel only.
We talked about fuel consumption and who we thought might be able to go. That went out the window, but you've got 4 Fords in the top 5 right now. Wendy Norris, I believe you're with Bobby Kennedy.
I am. Bobby Kennedy, team manager, making a lot of the calls tonight from up top the pit box. Crew chief Jason Overstreet, what are you guys saying to David Rudiman?
Well, he just made a little mistake coming in that time, but I think we're good enough to get back up the front. He's done a pretty good showing, never been drafted before, and it's been an awesome night. You know, NTN bearings on board, Toyota Tundra. It's a good showing and putting on a good show for the fans. I'm pretty proud of the young man, first time here.
Now, this is Jason Overstreet's first race as a crew chief. I hear you're making a lot of calls tonight, though.
Yeah, I've just basically got 2 rookies. Got one on top of the box training him and got one behind the driver's seat, but both of them's done good all week long.
All right, Bobby Kennedy, we're all rookies tonight. But guys,
This restart, Rick, the trucks are really scrambled. You got guys up in the front that just took tires. You got guys behind them that are on, or excuse me, just took gas. You got guys behind them that are on fresh tires. This could get a little bit wild here on this. If not, you know, if it hadn't been wild already. But
yeah, it hasn't been wild apparently.
This will be particularly crazy.
Frank Kimmel jumped in the throttle and spun the wheels there. Almost allowed Rick Crawford, the 14 truck, to get up beside him. It's a lap truck of Tina Gordon on the inside.
Wayne Edwards was up in 4th position on that restart, and the number 93. A great run, I guess you would say, for Wayne Edwards, being able to stay out of danger.
Done a terrific job. Stayed in the lead lap all night. Ran extremely well. Used some good pit strategy. Was up in 4th position. He's gonna, if he can stay on the racetrack and stay out of trouble, he's gonna have a great finish here.
The team that deserves the most credit so far is the 4 team of Bobby Hamilton. He's back on the lead lap, Phil. He has been on pit road more than he's been on the racetrack, but now he's in the lead pack on the lead lap.
Well, he certainly has worked on that truck enough that whatever problems he may have had, but I'll tell you, Danny Rollins and his crew has done yeoman duty tonight to get that truck back on the lead lap in this lead pack.
As has David Starr's Spears manufacturing team. He got in the same wreck. His truck was tore all to pieces earlier. There he is running in the 5th or 6th spot.
Now, Michael, did you see when he came out of turn number 4? He actually was on the inside of the yellow line as he was trying to get by the truck on the outside. The problems here. Shane Neal.
Oh, man.
That's doing a lot of damage to the front balance of that truck. He's keeping it straight right now. See, probably will not bring out the caution flag. I'm not sure. I was watching Shane. I'm not sure what caused him to go down the infield like that.
Green flag stays out.
19 laps of racing to go. It's Carl Edwards back out in front. Mike Wallace behind him and Travis Kvapil sitting in 3rd. And right now, Dennis Setzer has led the most laps. He's led 17 laps. Travis Kvapil has led 15. Terry Cook 12 laps. Carl Edwards has led 9 laps. And so they're all bunched right in there as far as leading the most laps. They'll get an extra 5 bonus points if Carl Edwards is able to get up on top of that list. Right now he's shooting for 17 laps is what Dennis Setzer has led.
He's shooting to lead lap number 100, I think is what he's shooting for.
Let's look back at Shane Neal's problems.
There he is right there on the inside. Oh, there was some contact right there, Michael. And he got him sideways, and when he got straight, he was just aimed towards the infield. He did a great job. Now, instead of panicking, he just held onto the steering wheel.
Got a problem in turn number 1. That's Tina Gordon in the Vassarette 13. Problems continue for Tina Gordon. I believe she might have cut a tire. Caution flag number 7 coming out.
72 truck of Randy McDonald's being posted on the board. That means he's being black flagged. You see Tina moving around in the truck. There's some damage to the truck, but not significant.
Randy McDonald's engine has blown up. He's just barely making it around the track.
Probably is not maintaining the proper speed. The NASCAR will figure out once speed some percentage from the overall lap time speed. If you cannot maintain that speed, you have to get off the racetrack, and I'm sure that's what's wrong with Randy McDonald.
Frank Kimmel, who stayed out, didn't take tires, you see, and Wappel have managed to maintain the top 5 spot. And David Starr has his crew has tuned that thing up, worked on that Chevrolet, and he's running in the top 5. Those crews, the 75 and the 4 crews, they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for putting those trucks in a competitive state.
They sure do. You see Tina driving her truck back towards the garage area.
Carl Edwards leads the Florida Dodge Dealers 250 in his 99 Ford. Mike Wallace just behind him in 2nd. And the safety crews working on the 13 of Tina Gordon. They will pull that back into the garage. Too much damage for that truck. and damage taking place yesterday on the 14 of Rick Crawford, but no damage so far. Ray, what's going on?
Well, he just came to the pits here, Rick, and basically the bottom line was they knew they didn't have enough to win without getting tires, and I believe the same may be true for Frank Kimmel. I just heard them talking on the radio. He said he might need tires. So Crawford had taken gas only, trying to get good track position, but he knew it wasn't good enough to win, and that's what they came here for.
Another Ford running very well, Carl Edwards, and there's team owner Jack Roush down in the pits cheering on the Super Chips 99 Ford. Let's take a look at Carl Edwards' eventful day. Look at this run.
That's just crazy, Phil.
That's one of the fastest runs down pit road that I have ever seen. Never lost a position.
Watch, he went in third. Look where he comes out. There's a big hole right there.
Well, he took a shortcut, guys.
He's going to slip right up in it.
There's losing the tire.
After the contact with Randy LaJoie there, and then now he's trying to get back to the pits with no left rear tire, and he turns around.
Yeah, that spin right there was actually a blessing because the caution flies. He's able to get in, get tires, and not go a lap down. Now he's leading the race.
You see Jack Roush,
cat in the hat,
team owner, and the most recent owner in the Nextel Cup, the winningest owner in the Nextel Cup as far as the defending Cup champion. We'll take a look at the NASCAR Nextel Cup update. The front few rows for the Daytona 500, and I see a familiar name down there in row 5, Michael.
Did I mention if I win the Daytona 500, we get free cheesy Domino's dots?
Now, is that just me or is that anyone?
Anybody, just call and ask for the Waltrip special.
Greg Biffle. We talked about Jack Roush. Greg Biffle on the inside taking the pole.
Elliott Sadler looked really strong in his qualifying race, didn't he? So far, Robert Yates is undefeated. He's got a pole along with Jack Roush in qualifying with Greg Biffle. Dale Jarrett won the shootout. Well, he's kind of defeated. I guess Dale Jarrett didn't win his 125, but Elliott won his. That's right.
What an amazing transformation that has taken place in NASCAR. Nextel coming on. You guys talked about how long the tradition of Winston has taken place, but a new face coming into NASCAR and really hoping to lift it to another level.
Well, I think it already has. You know, Dale Jr. and I had a Super Bowl commercial on because of Nextel. You drive into Daytona, you see all the beautiful yellow and black Nextel signage around the track. They are going to be a tremendous partner for our sport. Winston put us on the map, and Nextel is going to help us up at another level, I believe.
Wendy?
Well, Shane Meals in for a second time on pit road. He took that ride through the grass, so the team is over the wall trying to fix the front valence. They also made a track bar adjustment on the last stop, and they also said they need to check the radiator because their temps were up to 210. Guys,
210's not too bad, and that's a big break for Shane. You know, the race was over for him. He caved his nose in, being able to stretch that back out. He'll have another shot at winning this race.
He will. He'll be right in contention there. Stayed in the lead lap. There's some of the Nextel signage you were talking about. But, you know, we virtually grew up with Winston, R.J. Reynolds. They've been around, what, 33 years. They were the sponsor for NASCAR, so we're so close and dear to our heart, but it's going to be terrific. And there's another new one right there.
Another new sign, Daytona International Speedway, and we're going to see that all across the country.
We talk about Winston and RJR being around a long time. Unical through its pure brand early on, and then Unical 76 was around for 50 years. So, but it's great to have a terrific company like Sun Oil Company on board.
Pretty snazzy signage, though, right? You know, all around Daytona, they've just done a nice job in marketing the sponsorships of NASCAR. Those guys used to sit up there in an orange ball.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those orange balls.
I bet if you tell them who you are, somebody will get you.
Because, you know, my dad had a Pure Oil and then a Union 76 gas station in Detroit. So I literally grew up working at my dad's gas station. And when it was Pure, first Pure, and then Union 76. So we had one of those orange balls spinning outside my dad's gas station.
Why didn't you get that one? Ray, we'll go to Ray first. Ray?
Thank you, Rick. I just wanted to introduce you to a little buddy of Carl Edwards, Josh Basinger. You just got to talk to him on the radio, didn't you?
Yeah.
What'd you tell him?
I told him good luck.
Well, that's a pretty good thing since he's out front, huh? Where are you from?
Fulton, Missouri.
And you got to come down here just to watch Carl, huh?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Well, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe he'll win you one.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, Josh was just talking on the radio to Carl, and Carl said, hold on there, little buddy, we're going to get you one.
Carl Edwards out of Columbia, Missouri. So
it was
fellow Missouri member there.
It was very obvious Carl was a real deal when he sat down in that Jack Roush truck, wasn't it? And he came down here to Daytona like not a whole lot unlike David Rudiman has done tonight. He got in that truck for the first time, and Hall, the male, was leading the race when he got a little over aggressive in the tri-oval and looked like he tried to dirt track it through there. Wendy, what's happening?
Well, Travis Quapple's been pretty satisfied with his truck tonight. He said it's a little tight off. He doesn't feel like the front tires are in the track. It's been skating up the track, so they made an adjustment on that last stop, but he's been pretty happy all night long.
That's good. If you're going to go out there and run 180 mile an hour side by side, get bounced around, it's nice to be mainly happy.
How about Travis Quapple? Wins the 2003 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship, loses his ride, gets a new ride, new manufacturer.
What a terrific record there. Again, he only won one race last year, but 72 starts, all those top 10 finishes, going to be about 65–70% of the time he's running in the top 10 at the end of the race.
One of the most thrilling finishes in the Truck Series right here. A year ago, he finishes second, going on the high side of Robert Presley and Rick Crawford on the inside. And then one of the more thrilling finishes to a season at Homestead, and he's right involved in that.
And again tonight, you know, he just, you know, last year that team, he and that team did a great job communicating. There'd be times during the race he'd be running 15th or 20th, and you'd think, well, Travis isn't going to have what he needs tonight or today, and they would tune on it and adjust on it, and then 5 laps to go, he's right up in the top 5 battling for the win.
As we look at some of the front trucks here, the guys were talking earlier that they thought Mike Wallace looked the fastest, and Mike Wallace currently in second.
You know, it's amazing the season Travis Quapple had last year. He came so close. We talked about at Daytona, and at the end of the season, you know, he came into that race behind. He had to have some bad luck by Brendan Gaughan, which he got by getting involved in a wreck with Marty Houston, and then he also had to have Ted Musgrave jump a restart and get black flags. So when it's your day, your year, it's your year.
Boy, old Brendan got on a roll last year, didn't he? About halfway through the season, that team took off.
Mike Dolan will pull the pace truck down pit road, and so now he doesn't want to spin the tires. Carl Edwards will bring him to the green.
A 12-lap shootout to determine the winner of the Craftsman Truck Series race here at Daytona.
We've got a few guys at the back of the pack, back of the lead lap here with fresh tires. Rick Crawford came in, got fresh tires. I'm sure Bobby Hamilton made one of his 42 pit stops in the race and probably has some fresh tires.
David Rudiman on the outside already. And that NTN bearings number 17 is getting shuffled back. Ray, what's going on?
Hey guys, just keep in mind Mike Wallace has a victory here in the Craftsman Truck Series back in 2000. Also has a win here with Schrader Racing in the ARCA Remax Series. So Wallace's experience is something that Carl Edwards is certainly worried about, and he's really worried that Travis Quapple's going to team up with the 52 and make a run on him.
What a run by Dennis Setzer on the outside. Looks like I thought Frank Kimmel was going to try to make a move on the outside, and Dennis drove him on his outside.
Did we talk about Dennis maybe doing a little house cleaning late in the race and getting ready for the sprint to the finish?
He's been one of those trucks that's been consistently at the front of this field the entire night.
Now, Michael, you're grabbing your heart. I'd rather you sit down, I think, for the end of this race.
I am not good at this. This makes me really nervous. These guys are on it.
Sparks flying under the 52 of Mike Wallace. That's to be expected.
I can't figure out whether to watch the monitor, Rick, or watch the trucks on the track.
Watch the monitor. That's what everyone at home's doing.
Well, they ought to be down here.
There goes Terry Cook. Here comes David Starr with that banged up Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet. Look at Bobby Hamilton, top of the racetrack.
I think that we haven't given Chad Chaffin a call, and here he comes. He's fixing to be a part of this race. Look at him, right in behind David Starr.
Chad Chaffin currently in 9th. David Starr, 7th position.
I tell you, David Starr's truck has to be a handful with all that damage in the front, and he cannot have the amount of front downforce that he started this race with.
Carl Edwards, Mike Wallace, Travis Quapple all staying in line. and then everyone out of line behind him.
It seems as if there's been a pact made between those first 3 trucks. They've not bailed on each other over the last 10 or 12 laps.
That's the first pack that we've seen anybody's had tonight, because we've seen guys work together for moments, but not for any extended period of time.
And it hadn't allowed anyone to drive up on the outside of them because they stayed tied so tightly together.
We're inside of 10 laps. Ray, what have you got going on with Terry Cook?
Well, just watch for Terry Cook and Dennis Setzer in the 46 to team up. They've been talking back and forth with their spotters on the radio. They said the only way we can do this is together, so watch for the 10 and the 46 to team up.
Terry Cook almost got into the wall.
Sure did. Had a very anxious moment there. Now they've got Frank Kimmel hung in the middle as the trucks go by on both sides.
And you mentioned that pack possibly between the 3 trucks, and they begin to pull away because the other guys are racing behind them.
Well, they all got wadded up together, Rick, and it allowed a gap for the leaders. But I'm not so sure, like I said earlier, that's not such a good thing. When these guys line up and make a run at those 3 lead trucks, they could get to the outside of them and make a move on them.
8 laps remain.
If they ever line up.
Good point, Phil.
Look at Bobby Hamilton. He's worked his way back into the top 10 of this race.
After being a lap down and making 47 pit stops.
Last count, we have no idea how many stops Bobby Hamilton made, but it's been a bunch.
And he don't have all the guns firing either.
You see the front end there. He's got quite a bit of damage there. He's got no left front valence, so he's really at an aerodynamic disadvantage.
Way.
Oh, a little bit of loose John Wood there. David Rudeman.
There's Jeffrey Bodine. We haven't spoken about Jeffrey Bodine in about 25 laps, but here he is.
Oh, man.
Coming out the high side.
Is that Frank Kimmel on the high side?
I think Frank's back into the mix. Dennis Setzer.
That lead that the 3-truck pact had has been erased. Setzer's had a stout truck all night long, and he's riding right up back on the back of it.
He has consistently been able to work his way back towards the front of this field.
Bobby holds on. Bobby Hamilton holds on to that square Dodge and finishes in the top 10. I'm guessing he's going to do backflips.
You got to put a star by that as we race toward the end of the year. Remember this night at Daytona, because his crew has gone way above the call of duty to make that truck competitive.
6 laps to go. The 3 that had got out in front have now been reeled back in, and it is one line going around this 2.5-mile tri-oval.
I don't think Bobby Hamilton necessarily wants to run as high as he is, but he's lost so much of his front downforce. I don't think his truck will drive to the bottom of the racetrack.
These guys are really doing the best job they can to stay lined up in a single file fashion. Something's got to give, though.
Bobby's got his teammate Chad Chaffin behind him now, but see, Bobby drives right to the top of the racetrack.
He's able to cut down there pretty good on 4.
Come to the start-finish line. 5 laps to go.
Things are starting to get dicey. Terry Cook to the outside. Drives along the side of Setzer.
We've been talking about Hamilton. Wendy, what have you got?
I talked to Danny Rollins, crew chief on the 4th truck. They were talking to Bobby, and they said, do you have anything to challenge the leaders? He says, I don't think so. My truck's all used up.
That's a fair assessment.
It looks like it from here, anyway.
With the laps that Carl Edwards has been leading, he has now moved up. He is on the top of the list of laps led, and so he's going to get the 5 bonus points for the most laps led.
It looked like John Wood with that white truck was a cue ball there. He bounced off of Terry Cook, bounced off of Rick Crawford.
What a battle.
3 wide as they come to the tri-oval. Carl Edwards still out in front. 4 laps to go. Michael,
don't breathe yet.
Breath.
Don't breathe yet. Got some slow trucks on the bottom of the racetrack.
4 wide as they go down the backstretch. Carl Edwards still leading Mike Wallace down the backstretch. Travis Kvapil looks like he's ready to jump in front of this group. They're biding their time. Mike Wallace, Travis Kvapil have settled in behind Carl Edwards.
You gotta like the plan these cats have come up with. They kept themselves in the first 3 spots. We remember a year ago how they crossed the start-finish line 3 wide, so they know it's possible.
3 laps to go.
And look, the black truck on the outside.
Look who's in 4th. Rick Crawford, last year's winner, has moved back into the mix.
Got a 6-truck breakaway right here, but there may be enough time for that second pack to catch them.
They're here. They're coming. Anytime you run 2 wide, it creates such a draft that those other trucks are able to pull up. Setzer and Rudiman are at the back of that line. Rudiman dives the inside of Setzer.
Carl Edwards hugging the yellow line as they go through 3 and 4.
As soon as those first 3 trucks start to fight amongst themselves, it's going to bring a whole lot of other trucks into the mix.
2 to go.
You're right, Michael. That second pack has caught this first pack.
There goes Rudiman to the outside. Bobby Hamilton says, I'll try that, buddy.
An amazing run for Bobby Hamilton. The damage to that number 4, the amount of stops that he's taken already. Terry Cook, our pole sitter, has the chance to win from the pole, but he's going to have to do it inside of about 3 miles.
Wow. David caught a bad break there. He was not quite able to clear the 10 truck of Terry Cook, and now he's lost 2 or 3 more positions.
Dennis James grabs the white flag. Carl Edwards, 1 to go.
What is Mike Wallace's plan? When do you make the move? The race wasn't decided until off of turn 4 a year ago. Mike knows this.
You make the move too soon, and you're going to have 3 or 4 guys drive by you. So.
Carl Edwards putting some distance between himself and Mike Wallace. Wallace and Quapple now trying to negotiate their way up closer to the 99 as they work their way down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Carl Edwards out in front of Mike Wallace, Travis Quapple, and the defending race champion of this race, Rick Crawford. Coming out of turn number 4, dicing, dancing.
Oh, he got sideways.
It's going to be Carl Edwards winning the Florida Dodge Dealers 250.
How about a Toyota finishing second in the very first race? Travis Quapple, for the 2nd year in a row, finishes second.
Travis gets her done, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Another unbelievable finish for the Craftsman Truck Series at Daytona.
Mike Wallace was sawing on that wheel as he came to the checkered, wasn't he?
We will be back with all of the celebration, including the backflip, when we come back. Speed Channel's coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is presented by Craftsman. He's out of the Super Chips 99. Carl Edwards having a great time, Daytona style.
Did you mention something about him being the real deal?
That's exactly what that kid is.
Tears of joy.
We talked about Rick Crawford, a short track racer from Alabama, coming to Daytona and winning, capturing his dream. Carl Edwards, same story, a kid from the middle of this country, Missouri. 2 years ago, we didn't even ever heard of Carl
Living
Edwards.
in his mother's basement, sleeping in his car at tracks. And next thing you know, Carl Edwards wins the biggest race of the year.
And did you see his passion when he leaned down and kissed the grass here at Daytona? This place just gets you if you're a race car driver.
Wendy?
I'm with Travis Quapple, a 2nd place finish in each of the last 2 races at Daytona. You got to be pretty happy with that.
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't bring the guys home a victory. We had a truck that definitely could have won the race. Man, I was half throttled them last couple laps just riding, and the 3rd place there. And I was hoping we could make a move, but I kind of looked like I was going to make my move on the outside in the last lap, and didn't know if anybody was going to go with me or not. And I knew I could come off turn 4 and at least get 1 spot, and I figured it'd be safer to go for 2nd than end up 6th or 8th or something out of this deal. But guys on my team have done a great job. Linux spray on truck bed liners came on with us this year. I'm so happy for them and get a good finish for them. And everybody at Toyota and TRD put a great motor under the hood, and what a great start for the year.
It is a great start for you and Toyota. You have to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm happy looking at the big picture. We led some laps, and second place is pretty good, to come out of the box with. But I'm disappointed we didn't win. I mean, like I said, I knew we had a truck that was capable of winning and just couldn't take a chance of making a move on the backstretch and getting hung out.
All right, Travis Quapple brings it home second. Let's go upstairs.
What about the reliability of the Toyota engine? You know, that's the first shot out of the box where they run a couple 150, 300 miles probably on those engines by the time the race ended, and we didn't see anybody have a problem with one.
Saw no failures at all, so the Toyota has really done their homework. And this is a pretty new piece. They only had this motor approved back in October or something like that, so what a great job they did.
And obviously it had the power. Travis riding right there in second behind Carl. We had 3 manufacturers, though, represented in the top 3 positions, so the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series has parity among the ranks.
Michael, first of all, let's go down with Michael Wallace, Wendy Norris.
Mike Wallace getting a hug from his daughter. Mike, you've led all the times you've raced here in Daytona in a truck. We thought you almost had it there.
Well, we did. You know, it's just an unfortunate situation. What we had to do is race smart there because everybody was getting lined up behind us. And I had a couple shots at Carl, about 4 or 5 to go, and I just didn't want to have to race the whole field. And if I would have got him, I just about could have nosed up underneath him down the back straightaway. And I thought, I'm not going to put herself in that position. I thought I had a run on him on the last lap, and he got off the corner better than he had been. He'd been shoving the front nose. But the Federated Auto Parts guys did a great job. Sure wish we would have finished second. Can't believe we let that get away from us. But,
that's about all that.
Everybody's having a great time.
Hey, guys, we need you to victory lane. Carl, come on out of there. Last year he was Rookie of the Year 19 times, and he is the Rookie of the Year of 2003, but now he's a winner at Daytona. Man, what an unbelievable day. You guys had that thing dialed in.
Yeah, I don't even know who to thank first. I got to thank the Lord. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet, Ray. There's a young man named Josh Basinger with us. It was his wish to be at this race.
We talked to him while he was talking to you on the radio. All
right, that trophy's going home with Josh. This is a special day for him. I got to thank Super Chips, Charter Communications. This is the next F-150 Motor Trend's 2004 Truck of the Year. And we're here, and we're going to win this championship, man. I am pumped. My guys are awesome. Night Train, Steve McCain. This is my mama.
Did you ever think you'd be in victory lane at Daytona?
Oh, I never thought so. Oh, this is so wonderful. Oh, my
Here, let's get Josh in here. Josh, here's Carl, and congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking at the winner from Daytona. Carl Edwards from Missouri makes it here for the first time.
Carl Edwards celebrating his 4th career win, and a big one at Daytona International Speedway. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series post-race show is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and the NHRA. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Travis Quapple enjoys the hardware in victory lane. That's not Travis Quapple. That's definitely Carl Edwards. And Travis Quapple, the second one on the list.
Our defending champion, Rick Crawford, of this race, finishes 4th. Good run for him with a backup truck. Terry Cook, first run with that brand new team in 5th.
Rudeman, the first time ever at Daytona, proved that he kind of got a pretty good idea what he's doing as well.
Bobby Hamilton, David Starr's guys worked so hard to get their trucks back in somewhat competitive shape, and there they are with a top 12 finish.
Anytime you're on the first 2 pages when you leave Daytona Field, you feel all right. You know, it just seems to make the first half of the season go much smoother when you're not in the hole like Jack Sprague and Ted Musgrave, Steve Parks, Skinner, and these guys find themselves in.
We saw a lot of trucks that were out. We had a big accident on lap 50. Carl Edwards was not caught in that.